Hey Froggy friends, Kirostyle here. Welcome back to Granblue Fantasy Relink Endless Ragnarok. Thank you so much for joining me here on stream. Aru, congratulations on being first. Kieran, welcome in. Sai, hello, hello. And Ash, thanks for stopping by. Lork, it's good to see you. Hope you guys are all doing well today. I'm starting on the main screen today because last time we actually beat the main story of Endless Ragnarok, and I want to show you guys that the title screen changed a little bit. Now Lyria and Vern are here as well. So, since we finished the main story, I want to take the time to do some Fate episodes, because we haven't actually done the Fate episodes for the new characters yet, which means that, like, my Eustace, my Magliel, my Frau, they all are missing a couple of sigil slots, which I desperately need if I want to take on some more difficult enemies in the game. Okay, so I've been playing a little bit off stream today. I didn't have time to do too much, but I got Vayne up to Mastery rank level 48, which is pretty good. Basically, you just do the new slime quest, and each slime quest gives you somewhere between 50,000 to 75,000 MSP, and then you need 50,000 MSP for each of the levels between 30 and 40, and then you need like 75,000 for each level between 40 and 50. But what it means is I do have a lot more points with Vayne right now. I have most of these ones because these ones are good because of all the damage cap and stuff. It looks like there's a lot of damage cap to be had. It looks like every character has like these 2 damage cap slots on all 3 of their styles, which means that they have 6 of these damage cap plus 35%, which probably adds a lot to their power along with the Terminus. But I haven't transcended my Terminus weapon because I haven't gone back and done any of those new quests yet, which I want to do probably next week sometime on stream. In the meantime, let's do some Fate episodes. That's interesting. Fedios doesn't give a stat up. Okay, so I think my plan today is we'll do...
Please come again.
Here, I'll even set it.
A fine day for a death.
I shall spare no effort.
Let's do it.
Okay, so we'll do Eustace, Galanza, and Magliel's Fate episodes today. And then I'll probably do Beatrix, Frau, and Fedios on the next stream. Look at how unevenly balanced this party looks. There's a bunch of empty space on the left side because Magliel's short.
Hello.
Eustace, a taciturn marksman who hunts primal beasts for the Society. Contractor to the seal weapon Flammic Thunder, he's primarily concerned with preserving peace and quiet. His dedication to every mission makes him a reliable soldier. Oh, I forgot that these Fate episodes are actually quite lengthy. Because in the base game, we did like 4 per stream. Insubordination.
All I want is peace and quiet. Which, at first, doesn't seem like such a tall order. Peace exists in every corner of the Sky Realm, but it's fragile. A stray bullet, a whisper of discontent, and it all comes crashing down. True peace takes work. It takes defending. Because tragedy is always waiting around the corner to take you unawares. Like it did me all those years ago. Maybe that's why I harp on peace and quiet so much.
Eustace? Eustace, do you copy? Answer me, Agent!
An irate voice came over my portable transceiver, breaking the stillness of the forest. My employer, the Society, was ordering me to eliminate Lyria and her companions. Seems they feared her ability to command primal beasts. But shadows and suppositions are no reason to spill innocent blood. So, for the first time in my career, I turned my back on a mission. I'd had jobs that left a bad taste in my mouth, plenty of them, but I remained a loyal hound of the Society because, in the grand scheme of things, I thought we were working for the greater good. But hearing that blind rage through my transceiver earlier, the lack of even a semblance of mercy, raised my bile. I can't put into words why I went rogue, but I knew that if I went through with that assassination, I'd never be able to live with myself again. I took off my transceiver, crushed it in my hand, and threw it into the loam. Then I retraced my steps back to the crew. As I made my way through the forest, I reflected on how I came to travel on the Grand Cipher. It started with Beatrix and her habit of charging after trouble like a bull after red. This time, she decided to run an unauthorized investigation into the Otojumoki gang. Long story short, the gang took her hostage, and it was up to us to rescue her. With the crew's cooperation, we managed to get her out of there in one piece. From that point on, the Society wanted me to surveil the girl in blue and her allies. Zeta and Vasaraga had already worked their way onto the crew, so I followed suit. The more time I spent with them on their journey, the more I got to know the captain. Captain was a natural-born fighter and leader, a true wild card capable of anything. That was a problem for the Society. They don't like what they can't control. But it became clear, at least to me, that this rising prodigy had no ambitions for power or influence. I'd never met anyone so selfless, so willing to put the needs of others first. And seeing such kindness, such genuine good, burned away something heavy in my chest that had been collecting for years. But things could have gone differently. If the Society had ordered me to eliminate the crew before they'd had a chance to change me, I'd have willingly become a monster.
There you are, Sourpuss. Where'd you run off to?
Oh good, I'm glad, because Vern calls him Sourpuss in the mobile game as well, but that game's not voiced in English, so it's kind of nice to hear it in English.
Before those thoughts could lead me down a dark path, Vern's voice pulled me back. I sat down and stroked the head of a dog who nuzzled up to me.
Oh good, he has a dog here too.
He was the first dog I'd befriended in ages, thanks to encouragement from Lyria. I closed my eyes and let the peace of the moment wash over me.
Did something happen?
No, it's nothing. Don't worry about it. It wasn't the time to tell them about a new enemy. Not until I'd figured out how to deal with the Society going forward. But that too could wait a bit longer. I always use these moments of peace and quiet to reflect on what matters most to me. And considering how fleeting the calm can be, I didn't want to let it go to waste.
Oh, I forgot they got like stats from these as well. Hey Alice, welcome to the stream. So the prologue's usually like a summary of the mobile game and how they met the crew, and then we go into like an original story dealing with Zega Grande. Society agent Eustace first met Kiro during an operation to rescue Beatrix from the Otojumoki gang. He would go on to spend more time with the welcoming crew. In time, that was enough to thaw his frozen heart. This became evident when the always obedient agent defied his employer's order to eliminate Kiro. Negotiation.
Punishment for my insubordination was duly expected, but never came. Instead, the Society gave me my next mission, like nothing had ever happened. Did they defer the hit on the crew? I wondered, but decided to let sleeping dogs lie. I kept my head down and completed mission after mission. As long as the Society kept the crew out of its crosshairs, I saw no reason to bite the hand that feeds. Even though I should have known that peace needs to be protected. Time went by, and I was pulled away from the crew for another job. That's when the Society sent a task force after Lyria. I returned just in time to intercept the soldiers, but they wouldn't back down. My finger rested on the trigger guard, ready to spill blood if needed, when a familiar face stepped in. Ronan. Ronan was a member of the Society's top brass. If he was running field missions, then the organization must have been crumbling from the inside out.
So like this character here on the right side of the screen is probably supposed to be Ronin, but there's no way they actually modeled Ronin in the game, so they probably, it looks like it's just Eustace's model turned around in shadow, because Ronin wears an outfit that's very similar to Eustace's, because he's like Eustace's mentor.
I'd heard the society had splintered into 9 factions, but I never realized things had gotten so bad. The task force they'd sent were regular soldiers, who stood no chance against the crew. A functional chain of command would never make such a miscalculation. Ronin ordered the troops to stand down, and we did the same. It was time to get some much-needed answers. I can't seem to figure out whose side you're on. Maybe you can help. Trust. If there was going to be any between us, we'd have to be on the same page. Just days prior, the crew and I had gone to the small island of Moonsliver and fought a mechanical weapon designated as Atomagod Piet A. This Atomagod and others like it had apparently come to the Sky Realm from the moon. When the battle turned ugly, Grinoth transformed, so to speak, and that got me thinking.
They're really just like summarizing all these Granblue events.
What if Atomagods and seal weapons are one and the same? Maybe seal weapons could shapeshift into Atomagods, drawing on some strange power. Or maybe Atomagods changed into seal weapons long ago to hide their true forms.
It's like there's a lot of lore between the society, the moon, and the Atomagods and stuff. I thought they would just gloss over that for the sake of this game, but they're actually going into it.
Either way, I left nothing out of my post-battle report. But I guess the Society didn't want that information to see the light of day, because when I checked the archives later on, the report had vanished without a trace. Now, it's hard to say what kind of conflict will erupt between us, Moondwellers, and Atomagods. But a war is coming, one that the Society is no longer prepared to face. An organization is only as strong as its foundation, and the cracks are getting worse. They need me, especially as Flamex wielder. So, should I be a dog for the organization, a dog for you, or a stray bent on revenge?
He's got that dog in him.
I see what this is about.
I've known Ronin for a long time. He's the only one in the upper echelon who wouldn't stab me in the back. If anyone else had been standing in front of me, there'd be no negotiation.
Oh, they actually got like a voice actor for him.
The conflict with the blue-haired girl is bigger than me. You do understand that.
Not my problem. If the Society wanted me to stay, I'd do so on one condition, and one condition only. Stay out of the crew's business. I'm sure you'll figure something out. Considering Ronin's position within the top brass, he should be able to pull some strings. I decided to put my chips on him.
You're as unreasonable as ever.
He let out a drawn-out sigh, and I knew we had a deal. Then that's all there is to it. The rest is up to you. I was back on the leash. Fine. If that's what it took to preserve my peace and quiet, then so be it.
Okay, so that's still like mobile game lore. Eustace confronts Ronin, a man belonging to the Society's top brass. Eustace's suspicions were roused when his field report on Atomagods, mysterious weapons from the moon, was erased by the Society, and he questions whether he should remain loyal to the organization. Forced by Eustace to make a choice, Ronin reluctantly agrees to pull what strings he can, allowing Eustace to continue journeying with the crew.
I can still smell the charred bodies. Hear the crackle of combustion. See the raging fires. That's the price I pay for having cheated death as a kid. It started like any other day. I was out in the woods, nursing an abandoned wolf pup I named Vidi. Without warning, a searing flash turned everything white. I wouldn't learn until later that it had permanently damaged the vision in my right eye. The pain was intense, but I didn't have much time to dwell on it. Within seconds, the shock wave caught up and knocked me on my back.
It's like this was lore about Eustace that came out later. So in his dark version, which is also the version you see in Granblue Fantasy Versus, he actually has like an eye patch thing over his right eye, but he doesn't have that in this version of him.
When I finally sat back up, half dazed, my sight had returned, and I saw a sky screaming with light. Maybe I'd have been better off blind. Black smoke billowed from the village. I left behind everything I had and ran.
No! This isn't real. This isn't real.
The main square was littered with shapes so burnt they were hardly recognizable as bodies. I didn't stop to identify them, just kept my eyes forward and sprinted for home.
Mom! Dad!
If anyone was still alive, they'd never hear me over the roaring fire. I circled around to the barn. The structure was still standing, and maybe, just maybe, I still had a family. But seconds after I charged in, a support beam over my head burned through.
Ah!
Something tackled me from behind. Struggling to my feet, I looked back and saw a bundle of fur pinned under the wood. Shock numbed my mind, my senses. I don't know how I got Vidi out from under the rubble, but I remember carrying him back out into the cold. Our village was separated from neighboring towns by large fields and thick woodlands. All I could see was a blank shroud of ash and snow. But still I prayed for someone, anyone, to save us. I kept on through the blizzard, because to stop would be death. First, I lost my voice crying again and again for help. Next, I began to lose consciousness. Finally, as I lost hope, I saw a figure approaching through the snow. Ronan saved my life that day, but he couldn't save Vidi's. My world had burned, and the best parts of me along with it. I was left with a lump of coal for a heart. No mission, no matter how cruel, could move me. I thought I would simply kill until I was killed. Until a miracle reminded me what it was to live again. I owe everything I am now to one person.
There's our guy! We looked everywhere for you, Eustace!
I opened my eyes, hearing a familiar voice. There was the captain. The rest of the crew not far behind. It seems this lone wolf's found his pack. Thinking back on it now, I've come across many miracles. Ronan discovering me in the snow. Flamek accepting me as its contractor. And the captain giving me a place to call home again. I went from having nothing to having everything to live for. I never thought I'd be able to smile like this again. Kindness and love aren't foreign concepts to me. It's just, since the fires, it's all lain buried under a mound of ash. But when I stand on the deck of the Grand Cipher, I can feel a new wind rising and long-forgotten feelings resurfacing.
Okay, so it's been like 2 years since we did Fate episodes in Relink, and I think it's coming back to me now. It is like usually the first like 3 or so episodes, including the prologue, that summarize the character's backstory, and then we get into like an actual original story. Born to a tiny village in the snowy land, Eustace's peaceful childhood was abruptly ended by a searing flash of light. The light permanently burned his right eye, and it instantly destroyed his village. Collapsing in the snow from despair and exhaustion, he was found and taken in by Ronan, marking his start with the society. Despite the tragedy of his past, Eustace sees a silver lining. Those fateful events led him on a journey filled with new bonds. New orders.
The skies were clear, and the sun was out in Folka. I was relaxing on the terrace, enjoying a good book as a breeze rustled its pages. This was the peace and quiet I lived for. I had just hit chapter 5 when my replacement transceiver buzzed. Free time was always in short supply as a contractor. Managed to squeeze in 4 chapters this time. A new record.
Free time!
I could barely keep from sighing as I pressed receive. This is Eustace. A new job had come in. Someone in Zega Grande was intercepting society transmissions. I was to sniff them out and bring them in. The society has operatives in every corner of the world, even here in the Forgotten Skies. But where the society goes, our nemesis organization, the Foe, follows. And Avia hadn't completely lost its influence either.
Again, it's like they're called the Society and their enemies are called the Foe. Would have been easier to follow if they actually just gave them a name.
Whoever the culprit was, they were playing with fire. And the society was having none of it. Understood. I sank back into my chair and stared out at the town. It was the picture of rustic tranquility. But I learned long ago that looks are deceiving.
Relaxing in Folka with a good book, Eustace's reading time is interrupted when his transceiver rings. The Society is assigning him a new mission. He is to identify and capture an unknown party in Zega who is intercepting Society transmissions. Okay, well, good thing I know how to play Eustace.
If someone was tapping society transmissions, that meant they probably had a transceiver of their own. To my knowledge, Roland was the only person from Zega with anything close. The build of his handmade device wouldn't fly with society standards. Too bulky, too conspicuous. But functionally, it was the same. As I questioned him about his device, it became clear he wasn't involved. Besides, how would he have gotten our key codes in the first place? The handyman did, however, add a new wrinkle to the investigation.
Speaking of transceivers, I've been tinkering with a new prototype to upgrade my old model. Unfortunately, it appears to have gone missing.
Any idea where you might have lost it?
No, and I've already checked everywhere. But not to worry. Assuming someone does find it, I wouldn't call it user-friendly.
He laughed it off, unaware of the gravity of the situation. Roland might have been an astral, but like the captain, he was a bleeding heart, for better or for worse. Besides, I didn't see how he'd benefit from stolen society intel, and nothing he said during the interrogation raised red flags. The culprit likely wouldn't have alerted me to the existence of a missing prototype. I left the church and took my investigation to the streets, which also turned out to be a bust. I need a drink. When liquor flows, people talk. Should have just hit the bar in the first place. I kept my ears open while nursing a brew. A few sips later, my gambit paid off.
I can't believe it's finally here. My first time joining a gathering is tomorrow. So much for sleeping tonight.
Relax. You're making it way bigger than it actually is. The Primeval Acolytes gain new followers all the time.
Ah, the Primeval Acolytes. That definitely doesn't sound
The
suspicious.
Primeval Acolytes? Never heard of them. I studied the 2 patrons. The man had a mage's staff, while the woman wore fighter's gloves. I couldn't help but wonder if this group was recruiting combat veterans. Not that soldiers can't have a spiritual side.
Well, I did hear there's going to be a god call.
What's that?
It's a ritual where the gods speak to us through this box-looking thing.
The ability to speak to primeval gods, or primal beasts as I knew them. No one but Lyria should have that power. Something felt off. What tool could transmit the voice of a god to mortal ears? This might end up being a wild goose chase, but a lead was a lead. Might as well learn what I can. Hey, you're going to tomorrow's gathering too? I forgot to ask where it's at. Mind filling me in? A hasty pretense, but it worked.
Nice to meet another newcomer. Yeah, it's kind of disorganized, but I got you covered. So, about where we're meeting.
The acolytes told me about a remote location, but I didn't detect any signs of lying. I decided to head there along a monster-infested route, so my targets wouldn't see me coming.
Okay, sweet. We could do some fighting.
Right. The gathering should be taking place up ahead. Why someplace like this, though? Better hurry.
Why am I where we fought Managarmr?
Time is wasting. Target practice. Gotcha! Rookie. Too slow. Aim. Fire. Reloading. Rookie. Neutralizing. Need ammo. Gotcha! Reloading. Aim. They look weak. Should be able to breeze through. Clear.
Yeah, I'm a little over level for this, but that's okay.
Lamek! Let the war die! Too slow. Out of my way. Reloading. Neutralizing. Let's make this quick. Let's go. Thunderclap. Let's go. Good night. Locking on. Dead. Targets eliminated. Need ammo.
This is pretty fun, although he's very different than my usual.
Need to take a different route.
Because I need to be at range.
Down there.
Whoa! Where did you come from?
Sorry for dropping in out of the blue. I really didn't want to miss the gathering.
Oh, that's it?
Quite a few people had already arrived and were milling around. One of the flock greeted me with a smile.
Welcome to our humble circle.
Without dropping his smile, he gestured to my holster. Seems I wouldn't be allowed in unless I gave up my weapons for safekeeping.
Yeah, these people aren't really dressed for the weather, but you know, that's alright.
I didn't want to hand over Flamak, especially to an unknown organization. But I'd been on enough undercover operations to know not to resist. There were ways of complying without leaving myself defenseless.
Is there a problem, friend?
The man was all smiles on the surface, but I sensed a shark lurking below. Not at all. After turning over my weapons, I mingled with the crowd as a curious newcomer. The people of Zega Grande have honored primal beasts as gods since ancient times, but these followers took their worship to new heights, and they came from all walks of life. Some were victims of a primal's rampage, rationalizing it as divine retribution for their lack of faith. Others were desperate to fill a void left by the church's collapse, and others were converted after seeing the might and majesty of these gods firsthand. But I couldn't spend much time making small talk. I had to contact Society HQ before the gathering officially kicked off. Slipping away from the crowd, I switched on my transceiver in the shadows. Eustace reporting in. Continuing infill of the primeval acolytes. I was required to hand over my weapons. Proceeding with caution. Details will follow. Over. I had to assume the perp was monitoring all my transmissions. Whatever their intentions, whether they were an enemy agent or a lone actor, it would make my job easier if I could bait them into making the first move. Which meant lying low for now.
Yay, sigil slot.
Hello.
During Eustace's investigation, Roland mentions that his transceiver prototype has gone missing. At a bar, Eustace overhears members of the primeval acolytes claiming to hear the gods' voices through a mysterious device and decides to attend one of their gatherings. Before the sermon starts, Eustace purposely reports back to the society over his own transceiver. Since messages are being intercepted, that could be used to his advantage. Who's this guy? Ripples of Salvation.
A man who looked to be in his late 30s appeared behind the pulpit, and everyone fell silent. The smell of incense filled the air. He held up a device before the crowd, and it started to play a solemn hymn. It sounds like a transceiver. Must be Roland's missing prototype. The man proceeded to read from scripture. All heads bowed in unison, all eyes closed in prayer, and I followed along. Suddenly his voice swelled, and with wild gestures he raved about the primeval gods, about how they should be revered as much as feared. That was the path to true salvation. Salvation. The wounds of obvious crusades still gaping on this skydom, and yet these people spoke in Lilith's words. Following the sermon, a voice issued from the device, which the pastor claimed was the recently recorded voice of God. Once the divine transmission was over, the floor was open to questions from the congregation. I stood against a wall, watching everything unfold. Before long, the man from the pulpit descended and made his way to me.
Thank you for joining us today. I'm Izard, the head of this wonderful group.
I'm Eustace. Considering my transmissions had been tapped, I thought I'd better use the same name.
Have you also suffered at the hands of the primeval gods? I know it must be hard, but ordeals are meant to test us. Let's help each other put our best foot forward.
Thanks. Is that all you wanted to say? I wasn't the only new face at today's gathering. Why did he single me out?
You know, most people don't take the Fellfrost Passage. The monsters that nest there, they aren't too friendly. Seeing as you made it here alive and well, you've definitely got fighting talent.
Go on.
I don't know how we angered Avia, but some of their former members seem to hate us. They might leave us alone when they see we've got a tough guy like you.
I fed him a cover story about how I used to be a Seed Hollow city guard. Izard possessing Roland's prototype basically made him my culprit. But I couldn't move just yet. Not without definitive proof. By the way, I've never seen anything like that sound box you used in the sermon. Do you mind me asking where you got it from?
Ah, this old beaut. Bought it at a flea market. Crazy luck, am I right? Might even be an artifact from Dolly. Now wouldn't that be something? The gods sure do work in mysterious ways.
He should have saved his breath. Looking at the device up close, the design was a dead giveaway. It was Roland's handiwork. After a few more minutes of banter, Izard walked off to speak with others. He'd been guarded. I couldn't suss out as much as I hoped. I'll let him dig himself deeper into the grave. I needed more evidence before I could bring down the gavel. Izard would make a mistake eventually. I just had to give him time.
ACB, welcome to the stream. A man named Izard leads the primeval acolyte's sermon. Toward the end, he reveals a device that greatly resembles Roland's missing transceiver. Izard greets Eustace with open arms after the sermon. Suspicious of Izard's cordiality, but lacking evidence to formally accuse the man, Eustace takes a wait-and-see approach.
Before my 7th gathering with the Acolytes, I had a heated exchange with Vasaraga via transceiver. No, I'm out. I've had it with the Society's crooked tactics. I'll make my own decisions from now on. Otherwise, it's an insult to Viti.
I see. That is unfortunate.
The gatherings had become routine. Check in my weapons, listen to scripture, then finish off with the gods' blessings. By now, Izard was treating me like a best friend.
Eustace, old pal. Always a pleasure to see you.
He was in an especially good mood today. My dramatic exit from the Society must have done the trick and loosened his tongue.
Do you know why I started this group, Eustace? Because it's my mission to bring true peace to these skies. My family's counting on it.
Your family?
Oh, did I not mention them? I have a loving wife, a beautiful child, and the cutest pup you ever did see. It's pure bliss. I want to usher in a future where everyone can have their own little slice of happiness.
Izard smiled, raising his arms heavenward.
But the gods will not stand for such avarice. Their retribution will find me, and I walk with fear from dawn to dusk.
He looked back at me, his eyes haunted.
What you're about to hear may be upsetting, but I think you're ready.
He explained that primeval gods were not deities, but artificial weapons called primal beasts, capable of destroying the Sky Realm. Information that should still be hidden from Zega Grande's public.
I've been searching for a way to subjugate them, like a powerful weapon.
Does such a weapon even exist?
Oh, they exist. Ever heard of seal weapons? Engineered to hunt primal beasts.
My eyes narrowed at the mention of seal weapons. The term itself was classified information. At the very least, I made sure never to say it in my recent transmissions. Where did you hear all this?
Well, I don't rightly remember. Sorry.
He offered me a shrug, and that was that. I knew he couldn't be trusted, but who was he working for? The foe? The Moon Dwellers? Or somewhere closer to home?
Oh, that's the end of that one. Episode 7, Bluff. Eustace tells Vasaraga via transceiver that he's fed up with the Society. When Eustace speaks with Izard at the next gathering, Izard is in unusually high spirits. He gushes about his ideals, touching on subjects known only to Society members. Once again, Eustace feigns ignorance until he can conclusively expose Izard.
Tonight's gathering started off uneventful. Izard walked up to me after the sermon and clapped my shoulder.
Come on, Eustace. How long are we going to keep up this charade?
It seems he'd finally run out of patience. I stayed quiet and waited for his next move.
I know the Society sent you.
And there it was. He was ready to reveal his true colors. Not here. Too many witnesses. I led Izard back to the altar entrance and confronted him about his knowledge of classified intel. He sighed.
You're right. The truth is, I used to be on the Society's payroll too.
This was news. All this time, my target had been someone on the inside. According to Izard, he modified his old Society-issued transceiver to avoid tracing and switched it to send only. The gods had never spoken through Roland's prototype. Izard staged everything with his most trusted follower. Despicable. The theatrics with Roland's transceiver was nothing more than a dog and pony show.
I've been monitoring your crew ever since you guys left Fantagrande. Your arrival in the Forgotten Skies was a godsend. I needed your seal weapons. I'd take them by force if I had to. That's why I formed the Acolytes in the first place, to recruit muscle.
Yeah, good luck taking on the crew with a bunch of randos.
He droned on about his master plan.
Hearing you snap back at HQ was like music to my ears. When I realized your faith in the society was wavering, I saw an opportunity.
Izard railed against the society for focusing on the moon when our home, the skies, were so broken. He claimed that only he could bring peace to this world, but he needed power. Lots of it.
Join me, Eustace. Help me protect the skies. Isn't that what you want too?
First, they hollow out your mind with empty ideals. Then, they try to control you. The modus operandi of all cult leaders. It's an insult to Viti.
What?
I didn't expect him to know what it meant, because if he did, my plan would have already failed. It's a code phrase I worked out with Vasaraga in case I needed to signal a bluff. That bit about me being fed up with the society? It was a sham, to get Izard to drop his guard. His face twisted as he worked out he'd been played.
I'm going to make you pay for that deception.
Izard had been happy enough to spin his web of lies, but now that he'd been caught in one himself, he was filled with rage and resentment. So it goes. Still, I don't blame him for wanting to chase his vision. There's a lot of pain in this world, and people could use an escape, a place to finally find peace. But Izard had been manipulating his followers, diverting their faith into food for his ego, and he'd meant to use seal weapons to start a war. I finally had everything I needed to finish the job. It was time to shut him down.
I'm surprised Eustace revealed his hand so early, but I guess he got everything he needed. Tired of playing cat and mouse with Eustace, Izard admits he's an ex-society operative whose goal is to amass enough power to reform the world. He's been monitoring Eustace's comms and is aware of the agent's disillusionment with the society. Izard urges him to join his cause, but Eustace dashes those hopes. The intercepted transmissions have been bluffs from the start. Oh, he's pointing a gun at me.
After I exposed Izard's lies, he snapped his fingers, and someone ran to his side. It was the man who checked in my weapons. He handed Izard a familiar-looking gun. Is he the voice of the gods?
As well as the most loyal man I know. The only one I could trust to defang a society dog.
As soon as he had a weapon in hand, Izard's desperation shifted to glee.
You might have pulled a fast one, but now I'm the one holding the seal weapon. Way I see it, you have two choices. You can either come to heel, or die with a whimper.
He directed the barrel of the gun at me. Two things. One, seal weapons only respond to their contractor. You pull that trigger now, or try to force yourself into a contract before you're ready, and you go up in flames.
You'll say anything to avoid death, but even if I can't use this weapon, you're still at my mercy!
Two, I only gave you a gun. I put my fist through a pillar of ice, reuniting with my partner. Meet Flamek Thunder. I don't believe you two know each other.
Damn, Eustace. The idea of him just punching a hole in a wall of ice and pulling out his weapon. Pretty cool.
If that's Flamek... No, it can't be!
Izard went pale as he turned the decoy over in his hands, inspecting it from every angle. Try the trigger. Even a common flintlock can do some damage. The hammer slammed down, and a bullet whistled harmlessly to my left. Rookie mistake. To not take the time to aim with a single-shot weapon.
Damn, the fact that you even had like a bullet loaded in that gun. He was so overconfident with it. What a badass.
When did you swap them out?
From the start. I don't hand over Flamek that easily.
Oh, this changes nothing. Flamek will be mine, one way or another.
He began to chant in a language I didn't recognize. A snowstorm whipped up, driven by a wind as cold as the grave. The gale seemed to scream with a mortal voice. But whatever came my way, I'd answer it with the sound of thunder.
What are we fighting?
Forgotten warrior, heed my call!
God, necromancy. That's low. Did I get it?
Have some appetizers before the main course.
Didn't ask for dinner and a show. Now,
Enjoy.
he's lit! Neutralize! Reloading. Need ammo.
Warrior, rise.
Bring the thunder!
Let wrath try your
Oh, I attacked before he came out.
This is getting on my nerves.
Wait, let's try the counter
You
skill.
ignited its fury. You only have yourself to blame. Get up, you useless pile of bones!
Seems you're out of soldiers. End of the line, traitor.
At least I got to try the counter skill. That was pretty cool.
Please, I just want to bring peace to the skies.
I had the backstabber tied hand and foot, stripped of his mask of piety, and still, he tried to keep up the pretense. What does peace mean to you? He went silent, unsure of how to answer. I let him know it was his last chance to be honest.
We will never truly rid this world of sin. But with enough power, we can keep it cowering in the shadows.
Izard explained that war and peace went hand in hand, that evil couldn't be persuaded, only beaten into submission. I'd heard that argument before. In fact, several of the crew swear by it. But good intentions don't always pan out, and a war that fails to bring peace in time becomes nothing but brute violence. Power wielded blindly always leads to tragedy. That was where Izard was headed. Him and his whole makeshift crusade. Let me share one last piece of intel with you. You could collect every last seal weapon to exist, and still, you couldn't change the skies. So get that delusion out of your head. In this world, there are no easy answers. Your way of thinking is no better than the society's. Izard fell to his knees, a defeated man. Flamek was just a weapon. It didn't have the power to guarantee everlasting peace and quiet. As its wielder, I knew that better than anyone. That's why, at the very least, I wanted to preserve peace whenever I could, and protect those who needed it most. I looked up at the skies, swearing an oath in my heart. And for just a moment, Flamek seemed to glow warm among the howling winds.
Eustace is such a badass. And I love his design. This design specifically, his Earth design.
Good day.
Enraged at falling into Eustace's trap, Izard summons the undead to kill the agent, but they're no match for Eustace and his trusty partner Flamek, Thunder. Even in defeat, Izard refuses to abandon his impossible dream.
I have the traitor and his accomplice in my custody. I ended my report to HQ. Communications were secure once again. Back in front of the pulpit, I laid bare Izard's deception. The shock was universal. Some of the acolytes wept or turned white with rage. For them, this empty worship was the only thing that gave their life meaning.
So, you made us empty promises. For what? Your own self-satisfaction?
The blame, the bad blood, it was all deserved. But Izard refused to go down quietly.
Yes, I lied. I don't have a wife or a kid. Hell, I live in a shack alone. Happy now?
I could hardly bear to watch.
Yeah, because that's the part that's the lie that we had a problem with, right?
But listen to me, damn it. I don't need seal weapons to build utopia. I just need your trust.
Enough. This is pathetic. No one would take his bait ever again. The mission was over. But there was one last thing I had to check.
Izard's true colors are exposed for all members of the Primeval Acolytes to see as he rants and raves about fabricating his own family. Recalling that Izard had mentioned owning a dog, Eustace decides to visit the scoundrel's home to confirm. That's the thing you were concerned about, Eustace? The dog? I mean, we know that Eustace loves dogs, so...
A few days later, I walked along a faded road out of eyesight of the nearest town, searching for Izard's home. He was in society custody now, and the Primeval Acolytes dissolved without a leader. Luckily, I was able to track down one of its former members to get Izard's address. As I turned a bend, a house on a hill came into view. The windows were boarded up, and the wood was splintered. Seems Izard had been squatting in an abandoned shack. A guard dog came around the corner, raising its hackles and trying to warn me off. There was a collar around its neck, but it wasn't chained up. If it wanted to run away, it could have left at any time. A doghouse sat in the corner of the yard, surrounded by several weeks' worth of food. Maybe Izard had known that his crusade could only lead him to prison or death. Looking at that dog, I knew. Even if its master hadn't come home for months or years, it would have defended this abandoned home until its last breath. It's all right. I'm not going to hurt you. I reached out my hand slowly, like Lyria had taught me. The hound stopped growling and inched up, its tail between its legs. It sniffed my fingers, then gave them a cautious lick. That's a good dog. Up close, I could see its coat was well cared for. Izard may not have had a wife or kids, but at least he had something to love. In that false picture of a perfect family he painted, there'd been a single shred of truth. A small corner of peace, worth protecting. I gathered the dog in my arms, and as it looked up at me, its tail began to wag.
My dog now. That was a cute ending. Of course, when it comes to Eustace, we gotta give him that Gat Moe trait of the liking dogs, so there we go, perfect.
Please come again.
I got a new trophy, Dog Rescuer. Okay, so next we're gonna do Galanza's, but before we do that, I actually wanna practice on the training dummy with him, because I learned a couple things about him after the last time we practiced with him. Cozy Cottage, welcome to the stream. I don't know what skills of his are actually good, but I know I want this one at least. Hey Hongchi, welcome to the stream.
Practice makes perfect.
The Silver Wolf Alpha has found his prey!
So remember he has this ability where he can like spin like a Beyblade?
An opening! I'm gonna be sick!
If you max it out, he gets dizzy and falls over, which is kind of cute.
A big finish! Special delivery! Over here, fools!
Okay, let's build up a Skybound gauge. So last time I did show off his Skybound attack.
Wide open! Last one! 1 second!
He's so funny. Apparently he's really good too, because he's like really tanky. V is slow.
No limits! Wide open! Kill ya!
Unfortunately, when he's spinning, you actually can't move him. He just stands in one spot. So he's not really a Beyblade.
1 second! Eye of the storm! Get ready! Face your doom!
Almost there.
And open it! Consume me!
So what I want to show off is if you do Skybound while he's in Deathmatch Finale, in other words, when he's shirtless, he has a different Skybound art.
Got him! Storming death!
Which is different than the one we saw last time.
1 second!
Okay, we're probably gonna need to actually play as him, so I need to actually give him some skills.
Oh yeah!
I'll just give him some regular sigils. I don't need a specifically fantastic build for him. Sure, let's give him some supplementary damage. Okay, that should be suitable for now. Got a new trophy, Mom's Home Cooking. Right, Galanza and Magliel meeting Geisenborger and Haselia, who are both evokers that are very similar to them in different ways.
Hello there.
Galanza, a spirited warrior once affiliated with the Church of Abia, championing the right of might, he's extraordinarily strong and loves nothing more than to go head-to-head with other fine fighters. Swinging his massive pole arm in the midst of battle, he stokes courage in his followers and fear in his enemies. Oh, he's wearing a normal shirt here.
Look, I don't know how else to put this, so I'll be blunt. What you are asking for is literally impossible.
That's loser talk. Remember when people said ships couldn't fly? Now we're zooming all over the place. So don't let crap like logic get in the way of progress.
I'd been stoking the fire when I felt the thudding footsteps of a man sauntering up to the counter. His name was Galanza, an upstart fighter taking Zega's brawler circuit by storm. The prize pugilist stared me down, said he needed to take his combat to the next level. Asked me to forge him an unstoppable spear and shield combo. Sure, pal. I was a blacksmith, not a miracle worker. Then again, I'd only been operating in Folka for about a decade. And in these backwoods, it wasn't like folks were banging down my door to forge 'em masterpieces. Ah, hell. I was still a craftsman. Why had I even picked up the hammer in the first place? I decided to give it a go. Weeks in, and 29 failures later, I presented Galanza with a shield crafted from rare metals sourced from Tempil. Know what he said? Hiding behind a shield isn't my style. Buddy, do you know what a shield is? You're the one who ordered it. Yeah. Customer's always right. Besides, I was charging an arm and a leg, so it was only fair to give the man what he paid for. As I got to work on Candidate 31, fatigue hit me like a charging quakedile. The repeated strikes of my hammer filled the workshop with a sharp, mellow hum. Ah, that's a nice sound. Very nice. Strong sound. Strongest sound.
Hey, I don't hear any hammering.
I had blacked out. But when I came to, there they were. A mighty set of armor. An even mightier spear just lying on my workbench. On closer inspection, the armor could be disassembled and attached to the spear.
How did he make this when he was blacked out?
Huh. Not sure how I managed that. Maybe it was the days of strain, or the endless brain fog. But no matter, my hands ached with a newfound enlightenment. It felt like they could forge any weapon to perfection, as if I had finally grown from journeyman to master.
Well, do I have a nose for talent or what? You see what happens when you try? Much obliged for the gear.
Instead of nitpicking my work, my latest customer tossed me a hefty bag of coin. Satisfied, he turned to strut out the shop, prompting me to let out a half-hearted call. I'll, go ahead and cancel the shield, yeah? It should be fine. Mightiest warrior wearing the mightiest armor, wielding the mightiest spear? Yeah, he'd want for nothing.
Why would you ever want armor that could be disassembled and attached to your spear? I mean, I know Galanza wants it because, like, he has that attack where his armor comes off of his chest and attaches to his spear, but, like, in what world would anyone ever actually need that? As uncompromising Galanza burdens a Vulcan smithy with an impossible work order, he wants the strongest spear and shield forged as a single package. Despite the absurdity of the request, the blacksmith toils away at the furnace. Finally, after having entered what appeared to be a delirious state, the smith produces the mightiest spear and one very satisfied customer. Oh, hi Lilith. Been a while since we saw you.
Hats off to the blacksmith in Folka. The spear he made felt good in my hands. Had some real heft to it. The three pillars of ultimate strength were together at last. My spear, my armor, and of course, myself. So, this is the view at the top. That was no idle boast, mind you. I had hit every martial tourney this Skydom had to offer, and won them all. No one in Ziga Grande stood a chance against me. That was until a certain someone came along and made me eat my words. There's something off about this woman. The hairs on the back of my neck bristled. I barely lifted my spear off the ground before she was already behind me, the tip of her staff resting on the nape of my neck.
Yeah, Lilith beat him in arm wrestling or something like that.
Let's not resort to violence, shall we? Surely there's no harm in having a friendly chat.
The pressure was suffocating. A cold shiver ran down my spine. I raised my hands in surrender, and slowly turned to face the stranger.
My name is Lilith, and I lead the Pilgrims of Avia. We seek the fabled land of Estalucia, a utopia for all. Salvation is built by the mighty and the willing. A man of your martial talents could lift up those who yearn for a better life. Raise my banner, and together, we shall usher in a new era.
This utopia of hers was whatever, but the power she exuded was intoxicating. No, not just her. You didn't come alone, did you?
Oh, very good. I would have been disappointed had you not noticed. Step forth, Id.
A scrawny little punk came out of hiding at Lilith's beckoning. One glance told me everything I needed to know. This kid was destined for greatness.
I do want to see more of the Galanza and Magliel and Id interactions.
Don't be shy, Id. Say hello.
Id, as she called him, was anything but normal. It was obvious he was still wet behind the ears. But with time and training, kid could certainly reach my level. Oh, scratch that. He'd probably surpass me.
It's kind of weird to hear Galanza being a little humble.
And if he grows into half the beast I expect him to be, oh, yes! Hell, even the appeal of Estalucia had sunk its claws into me.
All this from just one glance, wow.
So, about this utopia you mentioned, think anybody there's stronger than me? Lilith cracked a smile. More of a smirk.
Fear not, my dear, for Estalucia is home to beings who eclipse even I. It is a land where anything is possible.
Hot damn! My heart was pounding like crazy. I would have been a fool to let the chance slip by. So that's how I ended up hitching my wagon to Lilith's ambitions. See, my plan was simple. Step 1, keep training till reaching Estalucia. Step 2, crush Lilith and everyone else like ants. Only then would I know if I really was the strongest. Oh yeah, I could feel them. Once-in-a-lifetime death matches were brewing on the horizon. And each one would be another step towards shaping my legend!
So this is how Lilith recruited him. I mean, I kind of figured it'd be something like this. He sounds like the person that really only cares about getting a good fight. Now I'm curious how she recruited Magliel. Crowned champion of every fighting tournament in Zega, Galanza laments his loneliness at the top until a mysterious woman named Lilith appears before him. With equal parts trepidation and elation, he realizes that her strength eclipses his own. Drawn to Lilith's promise of stronger opponents to challenge if he allies himself with her Pilgrims of Avia, Galanza eagerly accepts, jumping at the chance for more death matches. Oh look, it's the three of them together. Magliel looks a little worried.
Shortly after that crew kicked our butts in Seed Hollow Castle, the whole damn place began to crumble. After beating a quick retreat, who should I find but Id? He told me about the horrors that happened at the altar.
Mother's objective is to cross over into the astral realm, using Angra Mainyu's power. But it comes at a devastating cost.
Well, well. The cat was out of the bag. I finally understood why Lilith always made me feel uneasy. She's an astral, huh? But at the same time, Lilith was Id's adoptive mother. Raised him since he was a boy, you know? The news had to be rough on him.
Aw, it's nice hearing Galanza care about Id. Uncle Galanza.
So for Id to stand as tall as he was, even after being deceived for all these years by a loved one, yeah, I'd say the kid was built different.
Galanzunk. I like that name.
What are you gonna do now? Asking was just a formality. I already knew what he was thinking. But when your back's against the wall, it helps to put thoughts to words. Focuses the mind on what needs to be done.
We've brought misery to a lot of innocent people. Our recent run-ins with that Skyfaring crew really held up a mirror to what a monster I've become. I want redemption. But if Mother destroys the skies, she destroys any second chance I might have had along with it. So I've made up my mind to stop her.
He'd scampered off before I could get another word in. He just couldn't wait to get back to the fight. Makes me proud.
Galanzunk.
As for me, I was a plain old dumbass who followed Avia for selfish gains. There was at least one silver lining, though. Never would have met my pack of loyal wolves if I hadn't joined up. Was I supposed to sit back and let their homes, their families, friends, loved ones get obliterated? Do nothing as our world vanishes without a trace. Over my dead body. It wouldn't hurt to bump up my match against Lilith. Our duel was inevitable. Might as well bask in the thrill of devastating combat. Yes, I am the ultimate. I am the supreme. I am the astral wrecking machine.
Amy Emergency and Supreme, welcome to the stream. Thanks for stopping by. The Pillar of Vayoi rises in the sky as Seed Hollow Castle falls. Id, having escaped the castle with Galanza, reveals Lilith's plan to sacrifice Zega to open a gate to the astral realm. Galanza had only joined Avia to satisfy his own desire for combat, but now that the futures of the brothers and arms he'd been blessed with are jeopardized, he swears a reckoning with Lilith. This chapter includes details from Percival's episodes. Finishing their epilogue first may provide the best experience. Well, we already did that one, even though it's been a while and I don't really remember what it was, but nice that they tell you that.
While Id became the new handyman around Folka, Maggie and I returned to Seed Hollow to fix the damage we'd caused in the first place.
I love how they call her Maggie, that's so cute.
Felt like we had to. We were still complicit in Lilith's schemes, even if we had eventually severed ties with Avia. What's crazy, though, that crew's captain vouched for me and Maggie, sparing us incarceration. It was only right we rolled up our sleeves and returned the favor. I didn't mind lugging bricks and lumber, personally. It was another chance to train, especially since I committed to carrying twice the normal load. Naturally, I burned through my tasks like a champ, which meant I had a lot of time on my hands. A lot of time and nowhere to go. So I went to see how Id was doing. Or should I say, Mr. Fix-Id. Picturing him mending furniture cracked me up. Captain Goody Two-Shoes had definitely rubbed off on him. Actually, freed from the church's influence, it was like he was slowly relearning who he was. Like he'd fought off his demons or remembered how to be human. He'd always have that sour look on his face, though. But when he came home from a quest, that was when you could see real proof of his growth. The locals would swarm him at the dock, cheering with all their might. Seeing that, it was hard not to feel proud of him. Glad you found a place to call home, Id. You always were the best of us. Anywho, I just got done helping the crew out with a job when an old friend came sprinting up to me.
Galanza, sir, I've been looking all over for you.
Rook had been one of my officers in the Silver Wolf Corps. He and a contingent of former soldiers had also turned a new leaf and joined the relief effort in Seed Hollow. There wasn't any urgent work needed in the city, as far as I knew. But Rook was clearly agitated.
I have disturbing news about the Silver Wolf Corps.
Well, that didn't make a lick of sense. After Avia lost its shepherd, the Silver Wolves were scattered all over Zega. The Corps ceased to exist. But according to Rook, a bunch of idiots who were still brainwashed by Lilith's teachings were harassing islanders all over Zega. And they were doing it under the Silver Wolf banner. Now that you mention it, the authorities in Folka did make a number of arrests recently.
Ah, yes. Unfortunately, those suspects managed to escape from custody. They're most likely involved.
The soldiers in the Corps weren't just my subordinates. They were my brothers in arms. If they were still out there spreading Lilith's evil, then I had to step in. Besides, I wasn't gonna let anyone hijack the Silver Wolf name and run amok, much less a few overzealous whelps. Rook nodded in agreement.
Hey Zink, welcome to the stream. Thanks for stopping by. You know, I was kind of mostly like neutral with Galanza. Like, I thought he was funny here and there. I didn't really care that much about him becoming playable, but these Fate episodes are kind of fun. I'm liking him a little more. Oh, this one's links to Vasaraga's. While helping Mr. Fix-It with his various jobs, Galanza receives startling news from ex-Silver Wolf Rook. An unknown group is causing trouble for islanders under the name of the Silver Wolf Corps. If Galanza's former comrades are actually involved, then the ex-general cannot sit idly by. This chapter includes details from Vasaraga's episodes. Finishing their epilogue first may provide the best experience.
We consulted the legendary informant Zathba on the whereabouts of my rogue wolves. He pointed us to Dali, where they were last seen.
Seems they've been busy recruiting.
Makeshift tents and supply caches dotted the dunes. While some of the faces around the camp were new to me, their uniforms were all too familiar. Yep, those are Avia weapons. This is the right place. I was really hoping the reports had been wrong. That we were dealing with a gang of nobodies. Sadly, I recognize more than a few of my former subordinates.
By my rough estimate, I would say there's one squad per tent. What's the plan, sir?
As if he had to ask. Ready your weapon, Rook. We're charging in and cleaning house.
Yes, sir!
As we looked over their encampment, I felt a pang of guilt. Maybe I should have done more to guide my men after Avia's collapse. Now they were running around like lawless numbskulls. No matter. Time to bring these pups to heel.
I just realized I didn't upgrade his weapon. I should be strong enough that I could do this.
Who's ready?
Look at how slowly he walks onto the scene.
To battle, Rook! Knock the stupid out of their heads! Sound the alarm! The wolf sniffed us out! Throw your lives away if you want!
Oh wait, I'm plenty strong enough.
Without a fight!
You dare turn that sword on your former commander? How far you've fallen.
Orders from Avalon! Deploy all arms! Leave nothing to chance! Avalon? You're kidding me! He's the ringleader of this fiasco?
Silver Wolves, at attention! Galanza's here to...
Not like this.
All fossil-eyed raptors! Open fire! You're not leaving this desert alive!
Do it then! Bury me in the sand! Prove to me the strength of your
I'm so slow.
Oh, finally a unit with backbone! Kudos for surviving this long!
Sir, the wolves are still running amok. You can't leave yet.
Oh, hi.
We weren't enough.
The Corps I remember was 1,000 times stronger than this! Shameful!
Sir, The raptors came from that direction. Let's make haste.
They can't hit me, this slow, lumbering giant of a man. Like, Vane's already kind of on the slow side.
For the weak. Anything less than killing intent won't stop Gallanza.
But he's still, like, okay for me.
This what you signed up for? No regrets?
It doesn't have to end this way, Galcia. We...
He called him Galsy. I killed him before he finished talking, though.
I've had my fill. Stop this death match.
Silver Wolves, stand down. We need to talk.
You know, there's like quite a few characters in Granblue that have like wolf-themed monikers. It's a pretty common one, I guess, in general. Wolves are cool.
We've come for one reason. To find the cur who's taken up the banner of the Silver Wolves. This is your chance to speak up. Who's leading the pack?
Not a peep sounded from the browbeaten troops. Guess I spanked the whelps a little too hard.
Guess I spanked the whelps a little too hard.
To their credit, they didn't retreat during the battle. It was clear these wayward wolves hadn't lost their doggedness. Question was, what was pushing them to run wild across the skies? Where's Avalan? That made the men perk up.
He's not here.
Let me ask again. Is Avalan in command here?
None of this would have happened if you hadn't backstabbed Lady Lilith. Where were you when Avalan saved us from our darkest hour?
There it was. While I was off helping the citizens of Seed Hollow, my disgraced brothers had scattered to the four winds. Unable to readjust to civilian life, their hopes and dreams were dashed until Avalan offered them a way out.
Speak. It's time to fess up. What gives you the right to take your frustrations out on the innocent?
That's not fair. No, you're right. We were so caught up in Lady Lilith's teachings, we became blind to our very actions.
Made sense. When Lilith's lies were exposed for the world to see, society condemned her followers. Rather than face the music, these boys retreated deeper into their beliefs, until all they could do was force their views on innocent islanders. The eyes of my brothers fell to me. Felt as if I'd been transported back to the old days. They waited nervously for their former general to say something. Berate them, maybe. But there was only one thing I could say.
There was only one thing I could say. To be continued in the next episode. Actually, I should be... Just to be on theme, I should... There we go.
Hello there.
Gallanza and Rook head to the Dali Relic Belt in pursuit of the so-called Silver Wolf Corps. They storm the group's outpost, discovering that its members are indeed former Wolf Corps soldiers. As Gallanza unleashes discipline through corporeal punishment, or corporal, not corporeal, corporal punishment, he learns that Reaper Avalan is responsible for continuing the Corps after its dissolution.
The moment I turned my back on Avia was the moment I relinquished command of the Corps. Because of that, I left you men to fend for yourselves. Forgive me for failing you.
Sir?
Gallanza turned on his heel and began walking away. The fact that he hadn't forced these men to reveal Avalan's location proved he still valued his wolves. Just as I was about to follow after Gallanza, a familiar face marched up to me.
He's still the same, huh? You can take the General out of the Corps, but you can't take the Corps out of the General.
We just stood there reminiscing as we watched Gallanza walk away. Then, little by little, the men around us started sharing old battle stories amongst themselves. Nearly every tale was the same. Gallanza would charge into the fray, consequences be damned, and swing his spear at anything that moved. Only his signature, "Wahaha, deathmatch this, deathmatch that," could be heard over the din of clashing metal. Keeping pace with him was nearly impossible at times, but no one had qualms following his lead. His roaring laugh inspired us time and time again.
I love all the characters that tried to imitate Gallanza in his voice and mannerisms when they speak.
All right, Rook. I'll tell you where Avalon is holed up.
Whatever doubt Galcia harbored before, it was no longer there. He looked like a man who had come to terms with his own demons.
The defeated soldiers refuse to divulge Avalon's whereabouts. To their surprise, Gallanza doesn't force the issue. He simply apologizes for abandoning the Corps and departs in silence. Touched by his sincerity and integrity, Galcia reveals Avalon's location to Rook. Oh, look at him eating a rice ball.
Looking back, everything happened so fast. The Corps was small time when I took the reins. As Avia's operations expanded, so did my humble pack. Eventually, ballooning to the size of a respectable force. But I didn't want my soldiers following orders blindly. Real strength had to come from the soul. And these boys were no different. They had to want to get better. They had to want it so much, it became their drive. Their ambition! And only after they had discovered self-worth would they learn to savor their new lives. No matter how I pressed them, tough marches, grueling drills, these men were smiling as I turned them from coal to diamond. Come to think of it, the first time I let out my wild cackle, it was to hype up the troops on the front line. Rook and the boys thought I was crazy, but they got a kick out of it. Before I knew it, it had become my calling card. I'm starting to get off track here. As I was saying, my goal was to create a tight-knit pack. One where everyone could revel in being a member of the Silver Wolves. Yeah, including Avalan. He was one of us, part of the family. But, he was too serious for his own good. If he thought you'd wronged him, he'd cross the sky just to get even. Closing my eyes, I could picture all the times we'd shared. Training through that unholy blizzard. Huddling around the campfire for chow. Passing around the latest picture scrolls, laughing at the passages. Painting a Corps flag and failing miserably. Oh, even that crappy bastard could muster a grin when he was with the pack.
Not that you'd be able to see it with all their helmets on.
I know he's better than this. After we disbanded, I wasn't there to keep Avalan grounded. Well, now I could do something about that. Lilith's salvation had been pure snake oil, and it was time for old Avalan to accept that.
Gallanza reminisces on his time with the Silver Wolf Corps, appreciating that they weren't merely an arm of Lilith's army, but a family with whom he broke bread. Their days together were as joyous as they were arduous. Each moment was an irreplaceable memory. Gallanza still counts Avalan as one of his brothers, thus he swears to lift the wool of Lilith's lies from the latter's eyes.
I needed a clue about Avalan's whereabouts. And who better to feed me that intel but Zothba? As I was heading out, a mumbling rook stopped me in my tracks.
Sir, regarding Avalan.
I can never get over Gallanza's, like, shaven mustache, though. I feel like they could have given him a more cool one. It looks a little silly.
I know, he needs us. We're not just comrades, we're family. And it's our duty to bring him in so he can make amends.
Yeah, he's got middle schooler mustache. That's like the best way to describe it.
Right. You have my support.
Rook then informed me that Garcia had spilled the beans on Avalan's location.
The bulk of Avalan's forces are fortified on the Pillar of Voyoy.
Avalan, you idiot! Your decisions were getting worse and worse by the minute. It wouldn't have shocked me if you'd been possessed by Lilith's ghost.
Even the men back on Dali are beginning to question Avalan's methods.
That was just Avalan being Avalan. Once an idea got lodged in his brain, the stubborn mule refused to bend, even when he knew he was wrong. But I knew doubt had to be gnawing at him deep down. He wasn't too far gone to see the light, was he?
On the other hand, this information comes from the Rogue Wolves. It may very well be a trap.
Good! That makes it more entertaining. Such tricks didn't matter. The Silver Wolf's mantra was, stronger of will, stronger of might. And this skirmish would be another opportunity to put our creed into action. Besides, Rook had my back. At times like this, I had to recognize the strength in moving as a pack. I'm not gonna leave you out in the cold, Avalan. Soon, we'll be sitting by the fire, trading more stories and laughing, just like old times.
Upon confirming Gallanza's intentions to make Avalan see reason, Rook informs him that the main body of the delinquent corps is holed up on the Pillar of Voyoy. He warns Gallanza that it may be a trap, but Gallanza replies with his signature boisterous laugh. At least it'll be entertaining, roars the battle-loving warrior. Oh no, Avalan is just Rook, but with a blue helmet instead of a red one.
When we landed on Voyoy, Avalan and his zealots were already waiting for us. They must have known their secret was out. Saved us the trouble of finding them ourselves. I'm here! Now bring on the death match! I spent the entire flight thinking about the perfect words. But in the end, I figured, why overcomplicate things?
You see, the thing is, like, Gallanza keeps calling everything a death match, but no one has yet to die from any of these.
Really, Gallanza? You traveled all this way to issue a moronic challenge?
The man wasn't fazed in the slightest. His doggedness was a blessing and a curse.
This doesn't have to escalate, Avalan. Avia is defunct, and Lilith herself declared us sacrifices. Why do you still hold her in high regard? These wanton acts of desperation are beneath you. You're too prudent to continue this farce.
Rook hit it on the head. The problem was, did it matter if he was right? Logic wasn't gonna stop Avalan. Not when he was being steered by his convictions.
You think I haven't realized that? Tell me, how could we turn back now?
Yeah, he'd been wandering lost for a hell of a long time. Because his general, the man who was supposed to be leading him, suddenly vanished. Listen, Avalan. You and the wolves are still my comrades. No matter what happened, you gotta believe that.
Absolutely not. You abandoned us. Left us to rot.
So, Avalan didn't want to hug it out. Good. Wouldn't have been a true wolf if he did. You run into a problem? You bare your fangs. You give in to instinct. You revel in your own strength. And you chase after that wordless ecstasy that only the heat of battle can bring. I've come back for you, my wolves. Now, show your general what you're made of. Curses!
There's no way these are the only enemies I'm fighting.
If you say so, fight like you mean it. With pleasure. Regroup on me! Come on, beaten so soon? I trained you better.
Oh, wow, he actually jumped onto that, like, sky skimmer.
Ah, pathetic. Quit hiding behind machines, bunch of cowards.
I can't swing fast enough to stop them from hitting me. There we go.
Careful,
Maybe I
sir.
should Beyblade
These
it.
machines self-destruct.
What?
Oh, Beyblade's not strong enough.
Is that all you got? Get ready!
This one just missed me completely. I can't swing fast enough.
Avalanche awaits.
Are you even trying? I'm bored out of my mind over here. Leave us. Just as you were so keen to abandon us before. What? Waste this warm welcome? I wouldn't miss this for the world.
Yeah, at least he has a white flag, so he's ready.
Your efforts are wasted. Stronger of will, stronger of might. Or have you already forgotten our creed, Avalanche?
I know I probably only need to kill him, but
Foul. You will not
I just want to
sway
fight.
us. Consume me. Gotcha. And here's another.
Man, before Galonza gets deathmatch buff, he's kind of clunky, but once he gets this, it's good to go.
Gotcha. This isn't over yet. Your tenacity is admirable, I'll give you that.
Get back here.
Paralysis traps. Give them a wide berth if possible.
Like how sometimes they just miss me completely. They just fly right past me.
Massage would be great right now. Back to the fight. It ain't over.
Will you truly ignore reason?
They make me walk such a long path. The slow giant. But I kind of miss doing these like story chapters, the ones where you actually have to walk through the environment to get somewhere. Because everything in Endless Ragnarok was just quest-based.
The walls are closing in fast, Avalanche.
Third time's the charm.
Avalanche! Face me like a wolf! He's here. Release the Tayuitar! Here's another!
I love how when he goes in deathmatch, you can just spam this attack.
And let's see what left me with no choice. Release Taiuitar limiters! He's only one man. Ready! All units, to battle! Face your doom! Taiuitar destroyed!
Taking orders from the general is one thing.
That's why!
Facing him is another.
Do I smell fear? You won't beat me, reeking of cowardice! I'll deal with you later, Avalanche.
Oh, this is one guy I missed. This one poor guy standing off to the side.
Nothing matters anymore. I was clearly in the wrong, and I didn't need anyone to tell me otherwise. But I could not bring myself to take a step back. It wasn't so much the teachings of Avia themselves I dreaded losing, but rather the memories of the hope-filled days I spent with my brothers. We clung to the empty promise of salvation out of fear that the bonds we had forged were slipping through our fingers. We committed ghastly deeds to spread Lilith's hollow message to the people. But not once did we stop to consider our actions. I was weak, and thus I had given up on myself. Like a petulant whelp wallowing in self-pity, I attempted to kill a man I deeply respected, but he crushed me like the pathetic creature I was. Still, someone needed to stop my senseless destruction. I'm glad it was Gallanza. Go on, finish it. I couldn't have asked for a more fitting executioner. I had nothing left to give. My legs buckled, and I just sat there, too despondent to utter another word.
Stand, Avalan. I'm not through with you yet.
General Gallanza? A firm hand reached down and pulled me up onto my feet. After all the insolence, disrespect, and the threats of violence I had hurled, granting me clemency was the worst thing Gallanza could do. I didn't deserve it.
I should have done better by you. Forgive me.
I raised my head to look him in the eye, and was dumbstruck by a single tear rolling down his cheek. Suddenly, I was overcome by a wave of emotion. Memories of the days with my fellow wolves came flooding in. Damn it, General. Suddenly, I understood why Gallanza came after me. In hindsight, it was painfully obvious. This man was honest, he was unwieldy, and he was crazy. He was pushy, and dramatic, and loud as hell. But above it all, he was a man we aspired to be. It was strange. For all the melancholy and oppressive sorrow of our predicament, I felt for the first time in a long time a sense of clarity.
Aww. I got a sigil slot.
Hello there.
Confronting Avalon at Vayoi, Gallanza challenges the rogue leader to a deathmatch. Again, without the death. Understanding that actions speak louder than words, the men clash and Avalon sinks to his knees in defeat. Instead of executing Avalon, a tearful Gallanza helps his brother-in-arms up to his feet.
Avalan and his gang turned themselves over to the authorities in Seed Hollow. I was there to watch the guards escort my old comrades to the castle for sentencing.
On behalf of these men, I sincerely apologize for the offenses committed. Their transgressions came solely at my behest. I take full responsibility.
Very well. Your confession will be submitted for consideration. Oh, and thanks for giving yourselves up without a fuss.
As for the rogue platoon in Dali, Avalan ordered them to surrender themselves to Seed Hollow soldiers as well.
I suppose we won't get a better outcome than this.
I nodded in silence, watching intently as my former wolves were led away. Brothers, learn from this punishment. And once you've paid your debt to society, I'll treat you all to the best rice balls the skies have ever tasted! Avalan looked back, and as we exchanged nods, he cracked a grin.
He cracked a grin that we could totally see through his helmet.
Finally got through to you. Took you long enough. As the prisoners were led away, they held their backs straight and their shoulders squared. And their faces were as unclouded as the blue skies above. See you when you're out of the doghouse!
The way he says that and then laughs.
I gave them my best send-off laugh, so they knew I'd have their backs from here on out, both on and off the battlefield.
Avalan and the ex-Corps members who followed him turned themselves in at Seed Hollow to begin making amends for their crimes. As the men are led off to be imprisoned, Galanza shouts words of support and promises them to treat them to the best rice balls in the skies once they finish serving their time.
Target sighted! Off to our 10 o'clock! Hold your positions!
The goblin that's like behind my VTuber model here getting his ass kicked and being knocked off the screen is so funny.
We were back in action. Our line of soldiers stood firm, corralling a pack of territory-hungry goblins away from a docile island village. I had recruited these men, fellow wolves who rejected Avalan's crusade, and forged them into the Silver Wolf Resurgence. Our mantra was familiar. Stronger of will, stronger of might. These soldiers tirelessly fought to live up to that ideal, even as our days were filled with skirmishes to protect the islands of Sega Grande.
Captain Rook, enemy sighted!
Earlier than expected. Cheers rose up from the squad spanning the defensive line. There were other groups, Skyfarer crews, local handymen, who engaged in our kind of work, but they didn't have the numbers to cover the entire Skydom. They needed help tackling smaller threats that could easily slip through the cracks. And we were more than up for that challenge. Protecting the masses against lawlessness was our duty, our new calling.
I call first dibs!
Oh, one more thing. There's even a certain high-flying, spear-swinging, thrill-seeking champion in our ranks, even though he spends most of his time helping out a certain local hero. But when we are lucky enough to be graced with his presence, his boisterous laugh lifts our spirits and crushes the hopes of our foes. Yes, his clarion call is the sound of certain victory. Oh, which reminds me, I mustn't forget to record today's spat either. Because one day, all our wolves shall return to their pack, and they'll need fresh tales of laughter and camaraderie to inspire them.
I like how Rook was the main narrator for that epilogue. That was cute.
Come again.
We got rare spirits and not the
Okay, Magliel time. She's really fun to play. It's too bad I don't have room in my party usually to put her in. An elegant mage once affiliated with the Church of Avia, possessing comportment worthy of the noblest ladies, her tenacity and pluck are also second to none. She manipulates her levitating swords at will, and art privy to her clan alone.
Our blades shall sing, our stories made legend. Such is the adage of the Sword Vale,
So entwined were we with our blade dance that the passing of arms from one hand to the next was a given. We are entitled to an opponent's weapon upon their defeat. The offering of one's armaments to the victor was both a mark of respect and of the ultimate trust. We were placing our lifeblood in another's care. Such was the touchstone of our customs.
Yeah, they nailed her voice perfectly in English to convey the type of personality she has.
Now, I must stress that our founders preached honor for warriors and their cherished weapons. Both parties must consent to our observances. Pray do not mistake us for simple plunderers. And yet, there's a fine line between idiosyncrasies and heresy. Two sides of the same coin, it could be argued. The passage of time and shifting of sentiments can easily flip this coin for the worse. The fickleness of public opinion is no stranger to the Veil. Our history, chronicled through the ages, is rife with such betrayals. We became unfortunate examples of what can transpire when people fail to understand each other. All it took to light the fuse of distrust was a single match. In a duel fought generations before I was born, the opposing side refused to accept their loss with grace. They called us swindlers, odious cheats employing dark sorcery to steal weapons from good honest folk. Baseless allegations, the lot of them. But sadly, there will always be individuals without scruples who feed on slander and gossip. An embellishment here, a little fib there. Soon we were larcenous villains to the world. That was the beginning of the end to our normal lives. As the presiding head of the Veil, it goes without saying that I was not spared from vilification. Oh, how easy, cathartic even, it would have been to counter hate with hate. It would come at the cost of nothing, except my soul. No, the Veil would not be laid low by fear born of prejudice. We stood strong against those who would cast the first stones. No matter how dark the days grew, our resolve never changed, nor would it ever. I inherited a brilliant legacy, and I had every intention to keep it burning.
Our blades shall sing, our stories made legend. A long-standing clan spanning many generations, the Sword Veil Fellowship's history is fraught with discrimination and prejudice. But even as their passage through the streets invites jeers and distrusting eyes, their leader stands tall, holding fast to the clan's honor.
It was raining that day, a droning downpour that drenched me from head to toe. I sat atop a bluff with my face buried between my knees, the barren landscape a reflection of my heart. The spark I had was gone, smothered by the weight of guiding my clan. We were ashamed to face a world that thought ill of us, and my melancholy was exacerbated by an empty stomach. I can't do this. I can't protect them. The Veil was destined for ruin under my stewardship, but as I sank further into the mire of self-pity, a hand touched me on the shoulder.
You must be hungry. Here, I'm afraid this bread isn't much, but I've plenty for you and yours. Or would you rather have pancakes?
Lilith offering someone pancakes was not on my list, but...
The rain clouds parted as I raised my soaking head, and there was Lilith. Her compassionate smile as warm and inviting as the emerging sun. When was the last time anyone regarded us with kindness? For moons we had fled from the accusing eyes that followed us everywhere. Reaching a new island allowed for some reprieve, though it never lasted for long. Rumors travel in the tailwinds of airships, and we would be on the run again within days. Thus our arrival on this desolate rock. And finally, in these inhospitable borderlands, we found our salvation. Oh, you should have seen the sumptuous feast she prepared for us. And the beds! I'd forgotten what a good night's sleep felt like. Her hospitality was nothing short of a miracle.
I am the shepherd who guides the pilgrims of Avia. Our destination is Estalucia, a utopia for all, a land of everlasting harmony.
Hey Luke, welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you guys are all doing well today. Please go take the chance to go check out our friend Luke Aurora. He's a really cool streamer. Plays a variety of different games, including things like Punishing Grey Raven. So thank you so much for stopping by and trusting me with your audience. Hope you had a good stream. Cole, welcome in. It's good to see you. Hope you guys are all doing well. I'm Kiro. We're playing some Granblue Fantasy Relink. We're just doing some characters like Fate episodes, which is like their individual stories. It's mostly like text-based stuff. But feel free to sit back and relax. Or go take care of yourself after your stream. I appreciate you being here. Right now we're doing Magliel's story. I just want to like look up this. Yeah, so she's voiced by Debbie Derryberry. That's a fun name. Yeah, she's Jimmy Neutron. That's so fun. Good for her. She's 65 years old and still doing voice acting and stuff. That's so cool.
Help me set the stage for salvation. Together, we shall compose a beautiful ending.
Estalucia sounded too good to be true, like a land found in fairy tale. But the deliverance she offered was irresistible. Even were her offer a fool's errand, what more did I have to lose? If a land in which we were free to live as we pleased did in fact exist, I would be remiss not to give it due consideration. I know now that Lilith was not above underhanded tactics. In retrospect, perhaps the malice we endured that pushed us into her open arms was not entirely organic. A clan of sword conjurers would make for a formidable ally, wouldn't it? Thus we became her personal army, mere soldiers to be exploited in her ambitions. Still, was it really so bad to be pawns if we could once again finally live? Lilith was a shining beacon in our darkest hour. Her sweet promises drew us in like ants to honey. My kindred and I were tired of chasing after a hopeless future. I, therefore, made the decision to join Avia. This was a blessing from the gods. One last chance to reignite our will, to survive and reverse our misfortunes. Better days were surely ahead. We were embarking on a journey free of senseless hostility, away from the hatred that hounded us. How naive.
Hey Key Energy, welcome to the stream. Thanks for stopping by today. Having led her kin on a seemingly endless exodus across the skydom to escape persecution, Magliel finally crumbles under the weight of responsibility. But then came a lifeline. Lilith, shepherd of the Pilgrims of Avia, invites the Veil to join Avia on a journey to paradise free of discrimination. Estalucia. Magliel accepts on behalf of the clan. And Luke, thank you so much for the sub. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for 23 months.
Mother is attempting to destroy the skies.
Id did not look at me. He kept his eyes trained on the towering monstrosity marring the sky as he spoke through gritted teeth. Following a narrow escape from a collapsing Seed Hollow castle, I had nary a chance to catch my breath before Id made his unsettling claim. Lilith is an astral? What do you mean she intends to sacrifice the Sky Realm, and for her own ambitions? I felt the strength drained from my knees. It couldn't be true. It just couldn't. Everything the Veil had fostered with Avia was all a sham? But even in my disbelief, proof of Lilith's open treachery, this pillar of Ayoi, as she called it, was exposed before the entirety of Zega Grande. Besides, it knew better than to jest in poor taste. In that instant, I realized the hand of salvation that had reached out to us was a farce, and I felt my heart rip in two. Our dream of living as equals in a utopia devoid of discrimination shattered into a million pieces. Memories flooded my mind. I remembered fleeing home at the age of 20. Then, a year later, I met Id and Galanza upon joining Avia. They showed me that the Sky Realm still harbored good people. Those two brightened my days, and for that, I will always be grateful. It's little wonder I came to view them as family. Through their influence, I came to realize that although there may be no utopia bereft of conflict, perhaps it was enough to define this world with good deeds and strive for a better place. In this way, their acknowledgement of my clan slowly dispelled the haze of cynicism that clouded my judgment. The sky's annihilation had to be thwarted. The Veil had sworn itself above hatred, an oath made possible only by this world and its inhabitants. But the siren song call of Lilith's power was undeniable. As head of the clan, I was responsible for their protection. And to that end, rallying behind Lilith seemed the correct choice. As tumultuous waves of indecision gripped my heart, Id's own resolve became my compass.
Mother ended my mission to protect the shaman. Said it was no longer necessary. That's when I realized she saw Lyria as no more than a tool. It's funny. I started protecting Lyria out of blind obedience to Mother. But now, I'm going to keep her safe as a final act of defiance. Because I know, I've always known, it's the right thing to do.
I'd never heard my dear little brother speak with such fierce conviction. His fire sparked a change in me. The dormant flame of courage, anger, and determination blazed to life. Id's words and the resolve in his eyes had given me the strength to rebel against Lilith.
Her calling Id her little brother is just so cute. And considering Galanza family, even though like Magliel and Galanza couldn't be more different. Yeah, she has a soothing voice as a narrator. I was kind of worried with Galanza's because like his voice really suits him, but I don't think I would have wanted to listen to an entire Fate episode series with just Galanza's voice. But then they had Rook do most of the narrating, so I'm like, okay. The Pillar of Voyoi rises in the sky as Seed Hollow Castle falls. It, having escaped the castle with Magliel, reveals Lilith's plans to sacrifice Zega to open a gate to the astral realm. Magliel is left speechless, and her dream of leading the Veil to the promised land shattered. Even so, the bonds she forged with Id and Galanza remain unbroken. She swears a reckoning with Lilith so she and her found family may continue chasing their futures. Oh, look at her hang out with Lancelot and Catalina and Sophan.
Feast your eyes upon my next piece. This scorching blade of crimson leaves not in its wake but ash.
She's showing off her weapon grid in not Final Fantasy, in Granblue. She's showing off her Granblue weapon she got from all the raids. And the gold moons.
I had organized a very special tea party on the outskirts of Seed Hollow, attended by devotees of fabled works. An assemblage of weapons, my weapons, glistened in the afternoon sun.
Actually, that makes perfect sense, because Sophan loves swords, so he would totally be in for this.
You have quite the amazing collection. As an enthusiast, I've seen a number of fine blades over the years, but these are simply exquisite.
My dear knight, this is but a small taste. The best is yet to come.
Well, I'm something of a collector myself, you know. Seeing new works of art never gets old.
Yes, legends exist to inspire the heart. Release the chains that bind your emotions. Give in to liberation.
I'd like nothing more than to hear you regale us with the legends of these storied weapons. But shall we make the next one the last?
Lancelot's like, I've heard enough.
Well, I suppose a martial leader does need to stick to a strict schedule. And this party would last well into the following week were I to showcase all of my pieces. Captivated by my tales, my guests were at a fever pitch. It was time for the grand reveal. Coincidentally, I recently crossed paths with a sword of monumental acclaim and had the great opportunity to come into its ownership. I felt their expectant eyes on me. I am proud to announce the newest legend soon to join my collection, the one and only Excalibur!
Yeah, it'd be funny if she announced the shrimp sword instead.
What? That can't be.
Lancelot's cry of confusion was not the reaction I had envisioned. The excitement fizzled into disquietude.
Oh, right, Excalibur is kind of different when it comes to the Four Knights storyline. It's a different type of Excalibur.
Did the legend of Excalibur not exist in their skydom? No. Judging by Lancelot and Sovan's dour grimaces, that did not appear to be the case.
Last I heard, Excalibur was in the hands of Fiendrock.
They're like, did you steal the sword from our kingdom?
Correct. It should be closely guarded in our vaults, thus I cannot fathom it appearing for sale.
My beloved Excalibur already belonged to the kingdom of Fiendrock? How had I not heard of this? While I had no reason to doubt them, the name Excalibur was clearly written on the bill of sale.
Oh, did she get swindled? But this has to be Excalibur. It clearly says on the tag.
Pall of awkwardness settled upon my once mirthful event. Just when I thought my luck could not get any worse, an unexpected visitor arrived to pour salt on the wound.
There you are, Magliel!
Ciro Carte's voice was strained as she sprinted over. Why the rush? A shiver ran down my spine.
Yep, there's no one in the skies more feared than Sherocart.
Now, you might want to sit down for this, but I have some bad news. The delivery of the sword you ordered has been delayed.
Oh? That was bad news. Under normal circumstances, I wouldn't have given it a second thought. But Lancelot's reaction to Excalibur raised my suspicion.
I introduced you to the seller, so it's only right I take responsibility. I'll reach out to my contacts to see what I can find, and you'll be first to know if anything comes up.
That's all well and good, but if a third party was actively tampering with the newest addition to my collection, I was not about to sit idly by. Can you tell me what you know at the moment, Ciero? By the honor of the Sword Veil, I vowed to discover what was brewing behind the scenes.
That didn't even occur to me, because she's got all the 100 moon weapons. But that includes Excalibur, which has a story significance in Arthurian legends, which is where Fiendrock, or the Four Knights or Lancelot's story, takes place, so there's a conflict there. Yeah, she's gonna go speak to the manager. Yeah, she should have had, like, the premium shrimp sword. That would have been perfect. I also completely forgot, because I was leveling up Siegfried's weapons earlier today, that I forgot that he has fronting, which is, like, the earth weapon in Granblue Fantasy and one of my favorite weapons in the game. Maybe I should be playing Siegfried more. I heard he's actually a really good character now with the Endless Ragnarok updates, but I don't want to invest all my points into him when I haven't started working on him at all. Plus, I have Bane. I don't want more than one of the Four Knights on my team at once.
Yes, can I help you?
No, Magliel doesn't have Gisla, but she has Gungnir. Because she doesn't have, like, the 30 moon weapons. She has, like, the 100 moon weapons.
Right.
Magliel hosts a tea party, regaling her guests with rousing legends about her weapons. She proudly announces her latest purchase order for Excalibur, but Lancelot says the sword is heavily guarded in Fiendrock's vault and isn't for sale. Adding to Magliel's growing unease, Sherocart suddenly arrives with news the order's been delayed. Magliel decides to go look for the missing blade. I do like it when their Fate episodes include other playable characters. It's kind of boring when they only interact with NPCs. Oh, I have a pre-formed party for this. I have Lancelot, Sophon, and Catalina. That's interesting. It's good that they actually accompany her and not just, like, cameo in one episode.
Oh, if only I'd put on more layers.
Yeah, it's a sword crew, you're right.
According to Ciero, the seller was passing through Melot's monastery. Eager to clear up this Excalibur mystery, my tea party guests accompanied me to Mount Nazhaleth.
I think it's so cute in some of these, both Galanza's story and her story. there's these like pictures you see of her in the background here, looking like a little distressed.
I could see why the mercantile group handling the sword chose to do business here. The blizzards provided excellent natural defenses. A touch excessive, but certainly a cost-effective way to deter would-be thieves.
Wait, someone's here.
A shadow emerged from the cover of Swirling White, who I could only assume was a merchant.
Howdy. Haven't seen you folks in my business circles. Travelers, I imagine?
Actually, we are a skyfaring crew. We are here to inquire after an order for Excalibur.
He stared at Lancelot. Clearly, the name didn't ring any bells.
Our good friend here ordered a so-called legendary sword, but it appears to be stuck in limbo. Could you point us to customer service?
Oh, that order. Don't know the full details, but the guy handling that transaction went off that-a-way.
We were on the right track. I had to hurry, lest the trail grow cold.
Wait! A word to the wise before you go. Certain people around here aren't too trusting of strangers. They might try to trick you down dangerous trails.
Red was their calling card, he explained. How conveniently conspicuous. I had the utmost confidence in myself to see through their lies. Now, show me to the stage! If I'm to claim that sword, I'll need information. Let us survey the local merchants.
Wait, this is a dead end.
I can feel the cold seeping into my bones. We must get moving.
Whoa!
It's Bob!
You folks popped out of nowhere!
Wait, so am I supposed to, like, look around for red shirt Bobs? I mean, the quest marker's over there, so...
We're gonna get eyes! Everybody move!
You are not dressed for this weather.
Monster ahead. Best to hug the cliffs if you know what's good for you. I warned you!
Not with empty. What's done is done. We shall give it the attention it
I can't believe it. You beat that thing.
I believe we can move on.
It's too bad, my Maglio's too strong. I don't get a chance to actually show up for moves on these things.
Danger up ahead. Better watch out.
Dressed in red, I see. In that case... A pox on that bamboozler!
The sacred winds! Ready yourself!
Oh, you guys are fighting stuff.
Mjolnir!
I heard the supplier came all the way from Volca just to negotiate a price for the weapon.
So the supplier is from that small town in the Einstedo archipelago.
I like how these guys are fighting something back here. You guys need my help? Get my Glock out.
Excalibur. My precious Excalibur. Yo, behind. You didn't see that, okay?
I like how this map has like a little bit of a plot to it, sort of.
Wanna know something juicy? We've got a legendary sword coming in. Should be worth a fortune.
That phrasing suggests the product hasn't even been delivered yet.
remember this bridge. It was a long way down.
Mind you, these repairs were paid for by my own funds.
Excalibur. Bless me, where have I heard that name?
I love how these guys just like randomly attack icicles every once in a while. Thanks for calling Kirby. Magliel's animations are so fun.
Too bad for you. Cat and mouse.
Wait, the marker's over here.
Yo! What up, crew? Sniffing around for that, new order, I take it? Sure, I got some deets. Just pass a quick skill check, and it's all yours. Break all the barrels without moving from that spot over there. That should be easy, right?
It would be my pleasure to showcase the Sword Veil's exquisite arts. Behold,
Where am I standing?
my dart! Oh, miraculous sword! Rend them in twain! Go forth! Here's our foe! Only one more.
Bravo! Way to show those barrels!
A little mini game.
So, wasn't expecting magic swords when I set up this challenge, but that was pretty cool. Well, promise is a promise. Get this, your masterpiece is made with scales from a legendary dragon. I can't let a beaut like that get away.
Dragon scales? Excalibur contains no such materials, I believe.
Okay, now we go down here. This is where we were going earlier.
We've already come this far. Might as well keep going.
Ow.
Hey, are you guys Skyfarers? Please, I need your help. My wife and I got separated in the clearing up ahead. Monsters leapt out of the snow and I just ran. Name your price and I'll pay. Please, just rescue my beloved.
I like how we don't even reply to that, but okay.
This mountain is filled with monsters. Let's try to stay out of sight, lest we earn their ire.
Oh. Stay out of sight. I was gonna start blasting.
Whoopsie! We've been spotted!
If Mother Nature refuses to avert her gaze, we shall give her an eyeful.
Good. I want to fight anyways.
Continue our search.
So many like random little mini games on this little quest.
Can you walk, my dear? Then come along.
Thank you for saving me. I can't believe you defeated them all.
Oh yeah, you said you were looking into that sword, right? I'm pretty sure the smith has a daughter, and supposedly she's the whole reason he made it in the first place.
I think we'll learn no more from these mountain merchants. Let us return to town and regroup. I'll catch my...
What? Really? That was enough information? Really?
The sword was no closer to being in my possession, but our investigation bore fruit. 3, in fact. First, the sword had yet to be delivered from the supplier in Folka. Second, it was crafted with scales from a legendary dragon. And last, the smith's own daughter was the reason for its creation.
Given what we know, the sword is a magnificent blade in its own right. However, it doesn't fit Excalibur's description.
Huh. Funny how those fibbers never mention the sword's name, not even a fake one.
Being the target of spite is one thing. I've come to terms with that. But I do not appreciate falling for a bait and switch. The sword I ordered was not the fabled Excalibur. Fine, so be it. But it was still considered legendary, was it not? The mysterious circumstances surrounding the blade were intriguing.
Maggie, listen. I know you're hurting without that sword. Believe me, I do. But you don't gotta run yourself ragged, especially since money hasn't changed hands yet.
Oh, she hasn't paid him yet. Well, then it's fine. Also, I like how he calls her Maggie as well.
I felt a pang of guilt for making the others fuss over me. But I couldn't bear the idea of both sword and seller vanishing into the ether. There would be no greater shame for a clan of weapons collectors than to let a superlative item slip through our fingers. I am grateful to all of you for your assistance. Since this is a matter of Swordvale customs, I shall carry out my investigation alone from here on out.
We understand. If there's anything you need from us, don't hesitate to ask. We're always here for you.
Thank you, Catalina.
Again, it's nice to see, like, crew members that don't normally interacting with each other in these stories.
Seeing the kind smiles on my friends' faces, I struggled to keep my emotions in check.
I mean, it is nice every character has, like, battle banter with every other character, though, so that's nice.
Did I truly deserve their warmth? Circumstances had once sounded a clarion call to draw my blades against these people, to strike them down. Yet they still welcomed me with open arms. Perhaps the best way to return their kindness was to spend more time with them. I planned to make the next tea party an even grander affair, with my new legendary sword set to debut.
I want to see some Cagliostro Maglio interactions.
Come to view the requests?
Magliel and her tea party guests climb Mount Nijleith to question the sword seller about Magliel's order. They discover that while the sword isn't Excalibur, it is still a blade of legendary quality, making Magliel more determined than ever to get her hands on it. She heads to Folca, this time alone, to find the supplier.
Now, armed with the knowledge that the supplier was in Folca, I inquired after the sword at the town smithy. But my questions only drew restless, reticent answers.
It's being touted as a legendary sword. Can't argue with the truth.
Although the blacksmith was acquainted with the bladesmith who forged the sword, recently all correspondence had abruptly ceased. None knew what had become of the fellow.
Ah, good man. Lives out by Skyworm Valley. If anyone's got the skill to forge a blade worthy of mythic caliber, it's him.
I like how it's like they keep talking about this blade and they say it's legendary, but it sounds like this guy kind of forged it rather recently. How could it be legendary?
Unfortunately, life had not been kind to the master bladesmith. His creations were crafted with loving care, reflected in glowing appraisals, but his wares were in dreadfully short supply. Unable to make ends meet, he ultimately fell into poverty. Lacking the wherewithal to hire skyfarers, he would venture out alone for materials, each time braving death, and to think he did this for his daily bread.
He must be really hurting for money if he's selling the one I think he is. I only knew he was selling a sword.
The more I heard about the bladesmith and the sword I had been promised, the more excited I became. This legend promised to be a story to pass down through the ages, one that would strike a chord with all who listened. You see, particularly unique weapons tend to be imparted with a legacy. I endeavored to give these magnificent works of art a stage to shine on and keep them out of the hands of miscreants. It was as much for those reasons as it was for my honor and pride. The supplier must have thought me odd, for I was too wound up to keep still. I badgered the poor man to reveal the location of the sword maker until he finally caved.
You know, like, Magliel is, like, elegant, she's rich, she's the successor of this Sword Veil clan where they collect legendary weapons and control them with magic. But yet her Fate episode is surprisingly mundane. It's just her trying to get an item that she actually ordered and then dealing with customer service. It's kind of cute, I like it. The Smithian Folka confirms the existence of the legendary sword Magliel had ordered. Eager to find the master bladesmith responsible for forging her promised sword, she pesters the blacksmith for his location.
So, it looks like a storm battered the airways around Skyworm Valley pretty bad. That seems to be what's holding up the bladesmith.
Sierra had arrived in Folka with unfortunate news. According to her, all ships en route to Skyworm Valley have been temporarily grounded.
Natural disasters are just a natural part of doing business, I'm afraid. Such a shame. I was hoping to get a gander at the blade that's got my fellow merchants salivating. They've taken to calling it the Sentinel of the Sky.
I'd never once heard of that moniker. Hardly a legendary weapon then. But Sierra assured me that it was a sublimely crafted sword that no other blacksmiths could hope to replicate.
But how you say that, but you've never seen the sword yourself, Cheryl, so what is it?
Seeing as the bladesmith had no way to reach Folka, it fell on me to meet him instead.
Uh-oh, I know that look. You're thinking about zooming off to Skyworm Valley, aren't ya? I shouldn't have to remind you how dangerous that is.
She was absolutely correct, and I knew that. In addition to navigating wind currents powerful enough to sink airships, would I even safely make landfall? Still, as if by some premonition, an irresistible urge pushed me onward. I knew deep down that if I chose to give up the blade here, I would surely come to regret it. I was ready with a successor should the worst come to pass. I looked Sierra Carte in the eye and gave her a thick tome.
Oh, so when it says Magliel's will, they literally mean her will.
Sierra, in the event I do not return, could you ensure that the clan's records reach my adjutant, Trulin? Between its covers was the entire history of our clan, from the deeds of our founders to this latest chapter I've been penning. Guy Bulg was my first superlative acquisition of mythic proportions, which was ceded to me by Trulin. A trustworthy ally, it has seen me through thick and thin.
Oh, sorry, she doesn't have Gungnir, she has Guy Bulg.
Mjolnir, with its crushing blows of justice, was given to me by another adjutant, Ramlasona.
So in the Granblue mobile game, these weapons are ones you get for exchanging 100 gold moons. You get a gold moon every time you get a duplicate SSR weapon that you already own, and those weapons are called the superlative weapons, which is why when we first fought Magliel, it was kind of a treat to see her suddenly using all these high-stakes weapons from the mobile game.
Caduceus, a symbol of oath-keeping, was entrusted to me by Anduril, an individual who once saved the clan from dire peril.
I'm surprised they actually have names for all these faceless NPCs.
As for Freykugel, Uncle Batolia had demanded a different direction for the clan, and the matter was settled with a duel. Thus did the Pistol of Demons fall into my lap, along with my tears. Each of the swords in my arsenal bears the name of a loved one. Little Utalia, Jara, Jabril, my dear Sandrilla, Grigaro, Barbarilla, my mentor, Raylene.
Oh, that's pretty sweet. That's a lot of names to drop.
Entrusted to me by their former owners, these were all treasured keepsakes. Some among them were a reminder of those who had given their lives for the clan. Taking up their weapons was akin to inheriting their hopes and dreams. Every swing of their swords, my swords, carried the weight of their legacies. And now, I felt a burgeoning certainty that yet another grand legacy awaited me at the end of my travails.
You're sure you're going then? All right. I'm happy to hold on to your tome for you, but be sure to come back and pick it up.
I imagine the first instinct of most would be to ridicule me for my foolishness. Perhaps to them, weapons were merely the sum of their parts. But I know they all have a tale to tell, and I would be their storyteller. An untold legend was waiting to be discovered in Skyworm Valley.
Sudden savage winds had grounded all flights to Skyworm Valley, where the Blade Master lives. Fixated on finding her sword, dubbed Sentinel of the Sky, Magliel decides to brave the winds and fly there with her magic. Oh, so she's not even taking the Grand Cipher, she's just flying on her own. She leaves the Tome of the Veil's history in Shiro Card's hands, in case the worst should come to pass.
Amid Ainstedo Archipelago's collection of islands, I finally spotted my destination, the Bladesmith's Smithy in Skyworm Valley.
Oh, I thought they'd have me, like, do a map section where I have to actually go through Skyworm Valley to find it.
The rough winds threatened to fling me about as a rag doll, and it took all my strength to fight through the tempest. Had the island been any farther away, I may very well have perished on this flight. The relief I felt from making a safe landing was short-lived. There were no signs of life as I approached the smithy, nor when I knocked on the door. Pardon me, is anyone home? Only silence greeted me. I placed my hand on the doorknob. It's not locked. I crept into the dingy smithy. The creak of my first step was immediately joined by the barely audible sound of a second.
Go away!
A girl scurried out from behind an overturned table. Bundled protectively in her arms was a sword with a cerulean blade. Oh, how my heart fell for it at first sight. My dedication to this hunt had paid off. It was finally within grasp. The blade was breathtaking. It gleamed with a transparent quality reminiscent of a clear blue sky.
Who are you?
Oh, I'm sorry, dear. I do apologize for the intrusion. Rest assured, I am not... I quickly realized the absurdity of claiming innocence while standing uninvited in someone else's home. But the child's consternation was merited, given the atrocious state of the room. Tools and furnishing lay strewn about as if the smithy had been ransacked. Where are my manners? My name is Magliel, and I've been sent to investigate the curious winds plaguing this valley. Now, may I have your name?
Blue.
In truth, children were never my forte, but luckily I had been something of an elder sister to Id, so I knew not to frighten the poor thing. Dear, I know it's scary, but can you tell me what happened here?
It's my papa. There's a dragon in the valley, and it killed my papa.
Her name's Blue. Isn't Blue from Blue's Clues a girl?
Her situation was more dire than I could have imagined. I gently prodded for more details. After she gathered her courage, I learned that, yes, the blade she clutched was indeed the creation I sought. But she also revealed her father, as a famed blacksmith, had braved the dragon's lair at the center of the valley to retrieve a few of its scales. He never came home, and the wind had since become violent.
And on top of all that, there's those stupid goblins who always try to raid Papa's smithy. The big one saw my sword, so now I have to hide.
Bereft of its only defender, a neglected forge would make a tempting target for such bestial miscreants. Had this girl not suffered enough? Fear no more, dear. I shall dispose of dragon and goblin both. Of that, you have my word. Ha ha!
She needs to do Galanza's laugh.
I gave Blue a hearty laugh of confidence, honed from days leading the Sword Veil under Avia's banner. And for her part, she smiled softly in return.
No, that's not Charlotta's sword. Charlotta's sword looks more like a popsicle. That's how I remember it. Magliel arrives safely at the Blade Master's home in Skyworm Valley, only to find the Blade Master's daughter, a young girl named Blue, clutching the Sentinel of the Sky, the sword owed to Magliel. According to Blue, her father was slain by a dragon while collecting sword materials. With his demise, goblins are now emboldened to steal the sword. Maglio promises Blue to make everything right. This chapter includes details from Percival's and Eo's episodes. Finishing the epilogues first may provide the best experience. I didn't really see how Galanza's story connected to Percival and Vasaraga's, but I don't really remember what their stories were. I just assumed that maybe they referenced some of the characters, like Rook or something like that.
Fearing Blue had gone without food or water for a few days, I retrieved a loaf of traveler's bread from my satchel. She was instantly enamored. I'm afraid the taste is quite bland. Had I better foresight, I would have packed pancakes.
I love pancakes!
She seemed to be responding better now that her hunger and loneliness were partially alleviated. She even managed a genuine smile. But I could no longer defer the topic at hand. I had to inquire about the sword. My dear, I mentioned earlier I had come to investigate the abnormal winds, but that is only half the story.
Okay.
It's about that cerulean blade of yours. You see, your father made me a promise. Or, well, Rather, I purchased it from your father.
But money has yet to exchange hands, right?
Her tiny hand dropped the bread, and my spirits along with it. Still, I wouldn't keep this poor child in the dark.
Papa sold my sword?
Yes, I'm afraid so. Holding my breath, I showed her the bill of sale. Her eyes widened when she recognized her father's chicken scratch. Finally, she gave a meek nod, frowning as if she were giving away a piece of herself. She bit her lip before finally presenting to me the sword with all the pride of a blacksmith's daughter.
A promise is a promise. This sword's not called Excalibur, but your paper looks right. Just please take care of it.
I took the sword and instantly knew that it was a one-of-a-kind masterpiece. From the polish and temper of the metal to the immaculate embellishments etched into the hilt, the sword was clearly a labor of love. As I was poring over the exquisite craftsmanship, I caught a tiny inscription etched just above the hilt. Ah, that's why she cherished this blade so. Suddenly, a piercing screech startled me back to reality.
That roar! It's the dragon that hurt Papa!
Blue bolted out of the smithy. Blue, stop at once!
But I thought we were only supposed to trust people in red.
I gripped the cerulean sword tighter before giving chase. The girl was light on her feet as she wound through the twisting valley walls. The air, even as it buffeted my face, felt oppressive. The dragon hadn't even made its presence known yet, and already we were feeling the effects of its aura. Sensing the danger, I called out to Blue. Blue, I shall face that dragon. Find a safe place to hide and... Huh? The girl stopped in her tracks and turned to face me. Her stare was filled with the intensity of a love lost and the bravery of a survivor ready to prove her worth. I knew that look of defiance, that burning spirit of fury and determination. It was the same look once held by the man who'd given me the courage to defy my own fate.
Hey Blue, what's your power level? What level are you? Did you level up your weapon? Did you transcend your weapon? Do you think you're ready for this fight?
Very well. You may accompany me, as long as you promise to hide once the sparks begin to fly.
Promise.
I knew not if I was possessed of the strength to match a dragon's might. But Blue had already lost so much, and I would never abandon her, lest I sully the honor of the Sword Veil.
Hey Jago, welcome to the stream.
Come. The curtains are ready to rise.
Yeah, Blue, you didn't even uncap your weapon yet.
That's the dragon that killed my papa!
The show's about to begin. Be good and stay out of sight, okay?
Okay, fine.
Those tornadoes are a byproduct of its power. Stay vigilant as we proceed.
But why do I need to take these bridges?
It's that one goblin!
Still after the sword, it seems. He can try, and fail, to pry it from my hands.
Magleal already proved that she could just fly to different islands, so why do I need to take the bridge?
Yep, sure sounds like the goblin is that way. Be careful!
I don't believe the goblin we're after is among this riffraff. How unfortunate they chose to hinder my hunt.
Wow, you're crazy!
I'll have this all wrapped up before tea.
There! That's him!
Get the block out.
But such an uncouth wielder does not befit such an exquisite blade. Now, are we up for dragon slaying?
Yeah!
Didn't even give them a chance to finish their dialogue. I'm suffering from success over here.
When I grow up, I want to be a blade master and protect people. That's my dream.
I'm sure it will come true. I have full faith in you.
These things are just here to be annoying.
If Papa were here, then these little dragons wouldn't be so scary. Over here!
Now you've done it. Get.
I hate you! Give me back my
Again,
Papa!
demons. Step back, Blue. I know how you feel, but let me handle this.
That was for you, Papa.
Goodbye.
Thank you so much. I don't...
Let it out, Blue. All's well that ends well.
Oh my god, I just realized Blue's gonna be the next protagonist. Because we already have Gran, and then we need Blue, and then we have Fantagita. So we need Fanta now. So we found Blue, and now we need Fanta.
Welcome back!
I smiled at Sierra Carte's warm welcome. Knowing her intuition, the whimsical merchant had realized we would need a ride back after dealing with the dragon. And now that the winds had died down, she'd summoned a rescue ship from Folka to be our steed. Or at least that's what I assumed, seeing the Folka Defense Corps members standing at attention behind her.
I believe this belongs to you.
She handed me the Sword Veil's Chronicle, and immediately I knew I had another chapter to pen. It would center around a sword known as the Sentinel of the Sky, and the resolve of a girl named Blue. I turned to her. If I may, Blue, while you've been very brave, you've barely begun the journey of your life. I'm afraid a life of solitude is far too dangerous for a child.
Wait, I just remembered something. So, originally, Granblue Relink was actually not supposed to have Gran or Jita in it, it was supposed to be a new protagonist. It was a girl, and she looks kind of like Jita. She actually kind of looks a lot like Jita in her Relink outfit, but she was a different character. And I think her name was Blue. So this must be a reference to that character that got scrapped.
In that case, why not come live in Folka for a while?
My, what impeccable timing! According to the Defense Corps captain, a support center of sorts had been established for victims displaced by the disaster in Tempeel. Surely she'd be much safer there.
Plus, there'll be other kids you can hang out with. What do you think? Sounds fun, right?
Lord Percival had done a brilliant job of transforming the Corps. They were actually, dare I say, competent?
Oh, that's how this relates to Percival. Because I remember now, during Percival's Fate episodes, he was like training a bunch of people in Folka to make like a defense corps, some of them of which used to be part of the Wolf Corps.
I am inclined to agree. Now, my dear, shall we go back together? Blue gave a final look at her father's smithy before turning to me and smiling.
I made up my mind. Since you think it's a good idea, I'll go.
Blue had long dreamt of wielding the sword to safeguard her loved ones, but judging how she stood firm against the dragon, her wish seemed closer to reality than fantasy. Why, with proper training, this sprightly young thing would make a fine blade master. Folka is home to a sword master and his school. I'm sure he would be elated to welcome a new pupil.
No, don't go there. It's run by Percival.
That sounds fun. One day, I'll be as strong as you, miss.
Under supervision of the Defense Corps, Blue boarded the ship, and I was relieved she would find a happier ending. But I, conversely, had another matter to discuss with Sierra. Correct me if I'm wrong, but several crew members have mentioned you're something of a wizard when it comes to weapon enhancement. Is that true?
Maglia, wait, you've gone this long without going to Shiro to get your weapons enhanced? What weapon level are you? Is your power level strong enough? How did you get this far without upgrading your weapons through Shiro?
Blue's sword had yet to reach its full potential, and I had kept some of the dragon's scales for myself. If Sierra knew of a way to unlock the secrets of the blade, I was ready to try.
No, you're gonna need so many silver centrums and daybreak merits. Don't do it.
Yep, you heard right. I'm always taking new orders. Just try not to be too shocked by the sticker price. Pushing a weapon past its limits eats a ton of resources.
I'm actually more surprised that you don't upgrade your weapons at the smithy when you do your transcendence.
That would mean buckling down, but no matter. A worthy cause deserved diligent effort. Yes, that won't be a problem. If you would just have a look at this blade. I bore fear and excitement in equal measure. Though I'm certain she's a master of her craft, to have a legendary blade sullied would be, well, unspeakable.
And never doubt Shiro.
A sudden gust of wind swept through the valley. It was both a check on my unbridled anticipation and a herald of things to come.
Hey J-Ray, welcome to the stream. Thanks for stopping by.
Come to view the requests?
Blue gives Magliel the sword, thus completing the sail long set in motion. For her part, Magliel slays the dragon and goblins that torment Blue. The winds die down shortly after, allowing a ship helmed by the Folka Defense Corps to land. Living alone in the valley is too dangerous for Blue. The Corps will shelter her in Folka. Meanwhile, Magliel asks Shirokart to make enhancements to the sword.
This is my sword? I barely even recognize it.
Sierra's magic had worked. The Sentinel of the Sky had been reborn. Infused with powerful magic from the scales of that verdant dragon, well, words alone failed to convey even half its newfound splendor. The sword is now complete. All that's left is to return it to its rightful wielder.
Huh? But isn't that you? You had a promise with Papa, right?
Her reaction was understandable. After all, I had made the deal with her father. Perish the thought, dear. It was merely a pre-contract. We'd yet to cross the T's and dot the I's. She looked at me in confusion, leaving me with no choice. Very well. You'll have to renegotiate the terms of our agreement in your father's place. You see, I much prefer tales of swords to the actual steel. In return for relinquishing the blade, I reserve all rights to recount your legend at tea parties. A small price to pay for such a masterpiece, wouldn't you agree?
No, she's taking the copyright claim from her.
If that's all you're asking for, then it's a deal.
She's asking for the commercial rights so she can make this into a novel and a movie.
A grand success.
Thank you, miss. I'm gonna take this sword and become a swordmaster worthy of my papa's blade.
Her vow, the way she faced without flinching an uncertain future, resonated with me. We both shared the same passion to achieve our goals. Frankly, she reminded me of, well, myself. Alas, we finally parted, but every couple of steps the poor dear would turn back to wave at me, the sword clutched tightly to her chest.
And she's off.
Sierra walked up beside me, putting a hand on my back in a show of solidarity. Somehow she knew I was still conflicted. Yes, this legendary blade deserves to be wielded by its intended owner. For why was it forged, if not to inspire new myth in those precious hands? That alone brings me joy.
I'm sure it does. On the other hand, it's not just about the rupee cost. A lot of the materials that went into the upgrade were exceptionally rare.
I was holding up okay, and then you had to go and stab me in the heart. No, don't let her get to you, Magliel. Just remember Blue's smile. It was worth the sacrifice.
Cheryl laying on the guilt. Thanks to the services of the Knick-Knack Shack, the Sentinel of the Sky achieves its ultimate form. Magliel then returns the blade to its original owner, Blue. Wielding the memento of her father in her hand, Blue vows to become a warrior worthy of the sword. And the protagonist of the next game. Oh, look at them all being happy.
Members of the Sword Veil Fellowship live their lives in fear, respect, and awe of the many weapons wielded upon the field of battle. The premier way we pass on this creed is by taking to the stage at our fellowship tea parties and recounting the legends of yore. Today it is my turn to play Bard.
Oh, woo, Magliel! I love you!
It's so fun.
Finally, we'll hear what became of that sword she purchased.
Haven't you heard, Catalina? The story is more important than the conclusion.
I raised a hand above my head, beckoning my audience for silence. With the sun shining above, I was ready to begin my performance. Though I may have missed a fine addition to my collection, I have procured something far greater. Ladies and gentlemen, if I might be so bold, I shall regale you with the tale of a legendary sword. A sword with an inscription on its blade that reads, "For my little sentinel."
Oh, sweet. I got the proof of receipt.
Come again.
Come join my tea party. So I got this intercepted transmission from Eustace. Perpetrator was found to be a society defector. Due to the sensitive intel in the defector's possession, a decision was made to bypass local authorities and have him remanded in society custody for relevant processing. In addition to conducting an internal investigation, a thorough audit of communication protocols is strongly recommended to prevent recurring incidents. Seize the Day Silver Wolves, a logbook containing daily accounts penned by members of the Silver Wolf Resurgence who are engaged in volunteer work throughout Zega Grande. A variety of stories are detailed within, from city street patrolling to caravan escorting and martial instruction. No job is too big or small for the record keepers. While the penmanship leaves much to be desired, the memories woven by those misshapen letters brim with warmth and fulfillment. They will surely rejuvenate the penitent hearts of the wolves who will one day come home. Proof of receipt. Materials and fees. Dear Magliel, the receipt of the following items has been confirmed. Emerald Dragon Scale 1 piece. Tempered Ingot 2 pieces. Niche Leaf Quartz 1 piece. Exceptional Ruthenium 39 pieces. Cost inclusive service charge 596,300 rupees. Thank you for your continued patronage of the Knickknack Shack, Cheryl. Doing the Fate episodes in this game are always like a little bit bittersweet because on one hand, like I like learning about the characters and seeing the world and seeing what they've written, but on the other hand, it's mostly just me sitting here while they read out their own lines and not as much gameplay. So for stream content, they don't feel as exciting, but luckily because we're in Endless Ragnarok, we only have the 6 new characters to do their Fate episodes, so it's not like we're doing all the other characters because that took a long time the first time around we played the game. I think I liked Magliel's story. I liked that it included other crewmates in it as well as a little bit of character development, and we also saw a different side of her as well. I think the Galonzo one was exactly what I would have expected. Like, it just shows off more of his personality, which is a big personality, so it was nice seeing that too, especially seeing their past experiences with Id and their family like bonds with each other. I think that's kind of cute. Eustace's story was okay. It was like, yeah, it makes him look cool and talks about his past and shows off his love for dogs, so par for the course, but Magliel's was kind of a standout compared to the others. So next time on stream, or next time we play Granblue Relink on stream, we'll go through our remaining characters, Beatrix, Frau, and Vediel's Fate episodes as well, and then we'll move on to finishing the rest of the Chaos Plus quests. But thank you so much for joining me here on stream. I hope you guys enjoyed these Fate episodes. Next stream will probably be on Sunday. We'll continue playing Danganronpa 2. I might slip in a Granblue stream here and there if I have time, otherwise we'll just do more Granblue. Next week I still have to continue farming MSP for my characters anyway, so we'll do that then. Let's find someone to raid. Okay, Shin is playing some Honkai, so let's go say hi to him, and then I'll see you guys next time. And until then, fight on, froggy friends.